As soon as he finished his sentence, he summoned the Holy Grail to Kong Hoon's surprise. Leon carefully lifted the chalice, gathering his strength, loyal knight. Rest in peace. Leon just finished speaking, from the Holy Grail appeared a dazzling golden light. The Zappaner is illuminated by a magical light source, suddenly able to move on its own. Seeing that, Kong Hoon was very confused. Zappaner is moving, as Leon pondered again. He carefully observed the machine, this thing. The rebooted Zappaner is constantly fiddling with his two robotic pliers. Meanwhile, Leon was still focusing on observing the machine. This feeling is so strange. Even though there is no power source, thanks to blessings it can still work. Suddenly Zappaner edited his own machines. In a moment, from a huge robot, the Zappaner is now as small as the palm of a hand. Zappaner makes a small robotic sound. But somehow miraculously, Leon still understood. He muttered to himself, it turns out that's it, yes, that's it. Although he didn't know if this was the goddess's choice or not, he summoned his sword as he spoke. He raised his sword in front of the Zappaner, scaring it. Suddenly, he stuck the sword straight into the ground. Concentrate all your strength on your sword. Witnessing this scene, everyone around gasped in surprise. What is this? What is that? Zappaner also stood still and observed Leon's actions. Leon seems to have finished preparing as well. He slowly raised his sword. Slash into nothingness with one powerful blow. The sword's path seemed to tear through space, open the barrier. And from that space crack, a beautiful goddess appeared. Kong Hoon was bewildered and could not believe his eyes. How is that possible? And Leon smiled happily. Everyone was shocked to the point of being stunned, kneeled down on the ground. Everyone there intuited that the woman appearing in that brilliant light is definitely not human. It can only be something extremely sacred that no one can compare to in this world. Leon knelt respectfully. Dear Mr. Asiana. Gentle goddess, Leon Ha, my first knight, please tell me what's going on. Leon was silent for a long while. After pondering for a moment, he decided to voice his opinion. Sir Zappaner is an honorable knight, the one who set an example for all knights, so I hope Mr. Asiana can consider granting knighthood. The goddess was silent for a moment, then answered disappointed, but it doesn't do our job, although I have proven my honor, that glory is not given to me. Seeing that, Leon quickly committed, I am the first knight of the goddess, Leon Ha, please be assured that this person is a great knight. Hearing that, Goddess Asiana smiled with satisfaction, if my knight says so. Then we don't need to consider anything further. Then the goddess held out her hand, but, we also need a little confirmation. He turned towards the Zappaner. O knight made of iron and steel of this world, I heard your story from the knight Leon Ha, will you praise light and justice? But Zappaner couldn't speak and was still bewildered and didn't understand what was going on. Seeing that, the goddess gently smiled at the Zappaner. Honor and knowledge are very full, but that feeling is no different from that of a child. Then command it, please help it eliminate its evil to become my knight. Hearing that, Zappaner looked at Leon wonderingly. Seeing Leon smiled and nodded. It turned towards the goddess again. Cry out Kirik, Kirik. This time, no one understood what it was saying, they all looked at each other bewildered. Seeing this, the Zappaner began to act. It's hacking into the audio and language converter, set up language modules. Meanwhile, the goddess was still standing and watching. Suddenly, the system rang. Confirmed, just enabled the language, Zappaner exclaimed excitedly, demons, attacks, gods. Goddess Asiana saw this and was extremely pleased. He said gently, okay, Zappaner. If you vow to be loyal to my first knight and contribute to his cause, I will let you share in the glory. At the same time, it also summons a ball of light. And imparts a great amount of power to the Zappaner. Then he solemnly announced, New Grail Knight, will be entrusted with the task of glory and justice. Knight of the Holy Grail. Meanwhile, at the Mata branch of the United States of America, there was the sound of someone pleading, please forgive me, great existence. Because it was not possible to meet your requirements, it seemed like the sound came from Joan and Selman's room, of the Mata Guild. A red ball emitted a loud evil aura. How stupid, even something as simple as that can't be done. I have taught you the truth and wisdom of Samja, but you disappoint me so much. Seeing that, Jonan knelt down on the ground in fear. Sorry, please forgive me. And immediately defended himself, but, I have no other choice. That survivor named Leon was a variable we didn't expect. The ball heard what he said and scolded him angrily. Don't dirty your hands with trivial excuses anymore, that's Leon. Suddenly the ball stopped and asked in bewilderment, who the hell is that? Then give an order, hey, turn on the news quickly. Hearing that, Jonan hurriedly ran away. Yes, great existence. He turned on the TV. Open the news program with Leon Ha, I am the Heavenly Lion King. Leon Dragonier Leon Ha, hear this name, the ball of fear screamed loudly. What's up? Why is that kid here? Why? Seeing this mighty ball come to this fate, Jonan was a bit confused. Owner. Are you scared? The ball now fatally declared, I give up, don't do this weird thing again. Seeing that, Jonan panicked, owner. He quickly ran out and picked up the ball, owner. 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 And so Veen Bao Ngozi never spoke again. At the Korean Hunter Association. Kang-hoon is discussing business with Leon, then, we will register Mr. Zappaner as your president. He smiled and said, it would be a bit difficult to get everything going right away. Leon replied, no problem. Done. Leon and Zappaner walked out together. Zappaner saw Leon's legs tremble, suddenly turned to look. Then I was startled to see him vomiting blood. The goddess also worriedly asked, are you okay? My knight. Leon quickly took a towel to wipe away the blood. Answer, I'm fine, I'm worried. Recommending a Holy Grail knight in a place that lacks divinity would cause me too much harm. Zappaner used his small paw to touch Leon as if to apologize. Leon sighed and replied, it's not your fault, it's because your divinity is not strong enough. The goddess said, how could it be your fault? This is due to my shortcomings. The goddess's words made Leon quiet. He placed his hand on his heart, determined, no matter what happened, he couldn't blame the gods. Please don't say that, your kindness touches the goddess's heart. He was moved. My knight looked into Leon's passionate eyes. I always feel grateful for your loyalty to me. This is my fault, and the fault of the other gods for not intervening sooner. Hearing this, Leon was extremely shocked. But he didn't have time to say anything. The goddess has left, take a rest, always have faith in your gods and wait for them. Leon called out wonderingly, dear Asiana people. The goddess immediately returned to the sanctuary. He said seriously, brothers and sisters. We need to help our believers. It turns out that the day King Leon Ha turned 121 years old was the day the world died and there was only one knight left. He banished all divinity from his world and kept it in his heart. The gods, shamefully, left the heart of that noble knight. And continue to watch King Leon Ha destroy all monsters for 180 years. They placed the entire burden of the world on the shoulders of one man. Therefore, all the gods in the pantheon owe an unpayable debt to Leon. When the gods sat down together at the table, the goddess of life Demera wondered, how is that child? God Asiana said seriously, it's not okay. My knight has tried too hard. Hearing that, the third goddess suddenly stood up and asked worriedly, what should we do? Another god punched the table and shouted angrily, appoint only one Holy Grail knight to shoulder that much pressure? What had become of King Leon Ha who radiated the aura of divinity? Turns out it was the god of war, Bethoth. Seeing the attitude of the god of war, goddess Asiana quickly corrected herself and maintained her dignity. War, he has been fighting for our gods for over 200 years and has finally won. The god of war still raised his voice, we know that already. That's why we get angry with ourselves. After hearing that sentence, the other gods fell silent, the atmosphere filled with stuffiness. The shy god of life bowed his head worriedly. To break this atmosphere, goddess Asiana spoke up, 180 years. It's time for us to speak up, brothers and sisters. I cannot continue to see my knight tormented and in pain any longer. Suddenly, someone raised his hand, I have this idea. Asiana replied, please just say it. It turned out to be Hephaestos, the god of Hephaestos and the blacksmith. He said, just like the god of life did to the plains, we should bless everything that can build trust with the people. The god of war asked again, you want us to do missionary work? God Hephaestos replied, yes, we will show humans the miracle of the gods. And from what we have witnessed through believers of life, this world is interconnected through something called the internet. Hearing that, the god of life seemed interested. God Hephaestos smiled confidently, we will take advantage of the internet to do that. Hearing that, the god of war questioned. But why has King Leon Ha never thought of this way? God Hephaestos objected, he was once a subject of this world, he was in this world before the internet became popular. Goddess Asiana also wondered, but Hephaestos, what about testing and failing? The information Leon gave took 20 years to take root. Hearing that, God Hephaestos smiled, as if he had planned this in advance. That's where our Grail Knight comes into play. At the Hunter Association headquarters, an employee panicked, manage, look at this. Hearing that, Jinsu was very curious. Hurry to see, huh? The employee pointed to the computer screen and said, this is on YouTube, is this allowed? Jinsu still doesn't understand what's going on, extremely curious, YouTube. As soon as he saw it, Jinsu became angry, what is that? Naju Plain, YouTuber. He was shocked. This is, Pantheon has its own YouTube channel. The title of the video also stimulates curiosity, why did he go to the hospital? An office worker who once looked down on farmers, one sentence from the old farmer made him change. That's just eating rice, but only with one spoon, your life can change. Ask someone about God, unexpected results. He quickly reassured himself, it's all clickbait, the quality of the video is also extremely high. Everyone who saw the video was very confused, silent, speechless. Jinsu's sweat dropped and asked worriedly, who made these? The employee guessed, Pantheon, isn't that his superior? What about Leon? Jinsu replied, do you think he'll use YouTube? The employee saw that what the manager said made sense, so he replied, no. He continued to guess, was it Assistant Han who did it? But based on his own experience, Jinsu immediately knew it was not Haji. She doesn't know anything about computers. But that's not the important issue, Jinsu said worriedly. The bigger problem is, these videos are not clickbait, they are all real. What should we do? He silently scolded. What is he planning to do? Think so, Jinsu quickly left the office. I'll go out for a bit. The employee wondered, where are you going? Manager replied, I'll go see that Leon guy. Meanwhile, at Leon's apartment. In Leon's private room, there was the sound of a computer rattling. Turns out it was done by Zappiner, successfully created subtitles. Proceed to upload. Assistant Haji opened the door. She walked in curiously. Mr. Zappiner, are you done using my computer yet? See Zappiner, she wondered, what have you done? Zappiner also looked at Haji in bewilderment. But it didn't care much and immediately went back to continuing its work. Plan, sound promotion, phase 1 is complete. Proceed to phase 2, hacking into the internet network. Haji saw Zappiner speak and let out a loud noise as if he understood. She didn't doubt it one bit. Think silently, Mr. Zappiner is probably just playing a game. As expected, Han Haji had absolutely no understanding of how computers work. The next day, at Naju Plain. Temporary Naju Plain's branch Pantheon Assembly Hall. Jinsu rushed in panic, sire, we have to take down the video. But contrary to his imagination, Leon was sitting comfortably drinking tea without the slightest worry. Han Haji was holding a pot of tea and immediately offered Jinsu a cup. Drink a cup of barley tea first. Jinsu confusedly took the cup of tea, politely replied, oh yes, thank you. I'm so tired from running, sweating profusely. He quickly drank a glass of water. He is still very worried. Dead, that video. But Jinsu stopped. He wondered, but who posted it? Leon was silent for a while, then calmly answered, Mr. Zappiner did it. Listen, Jinsu was even more shocked. Mr. Zappiner, he thought to himself, that killing machine knows how to make videos? How? Leon asked again, what do you mean take down the video? Jinsu replied bewilderedly, you already know that. Jinsu started to explain, rice grains in the Naju Plain are completely different from other places in the world. It can cure all diseases and also helps the body stay healthy, like in a fairy tale. As soon as someone knows about this rice field, the whole world will hunt for it. The Naju Plains will be filled with bandits. And they are not ordinary thieves either. Then he bowed his head respectfully and said, when the General Department of Food allows sowing seeds, the association will help as much as possible, please wait until then. But Leon was still very calm. I know, you also have your own rules and systems, I understand what you mean. Leon frowned and said, but you're worrying about random things. Seeing Leon's confident attitude, Jinsu was confused. Yes. Leon calmly sipped his tea. Goddess's farm, no one can come and steal it. Jinsu was still skeptical and sweating profusely. Why is he so confident? Night comes at Naju Field. A large group of people came. The leader read the customer's message as he spoke. That grain of rice is definitely real. In the message, the customer asked to keep the seeds and burn the fields in the Naju Plain. Seeing a rice field with magical rice grains but no one guarding it, the robbers were surprised. What the hell? I thought they would increase their defense to the maximum, right? Yet there was nothing. They started talking to Noni. Should we just come get the seeds and start a fire that will burn this place down? A scar-faced guy said, we've already been paid, just do your job, bring some gasoline cans here. It turns out they are the Evil Snake Squad, the Korean Branch Association, the Hitman Corporation. And just like that, without much hesitation, the robbers sneaked into the rice fields. They walk in very orderly rows, true to the style of a professional team. Suddenly one stopped. Saw a figure wearing a cloak. A frightened man pulled out his weapon and called out, sir, there's someone there. But when they got closer, they realized it was just a scarecrow. Scarecrow? One guy shouted, just a scarecrow, you idiot. The guy from before stammered, am I wrong? Passing by the scarecrow, the robbers were confused. So strange, why do I see it moving? Maybe it's just the wind blowing, you idiot. One guy stared at the scarecrow and muttered, how scary do you think that is? Suddenly one of the guys stuttered again, big brother, look, the boss is angry, star? The two of them turned to look behind. The junior panicked, why are there so many scarecrows? The scarecrows each have their own look, it looks very strange and spooky. The junior shouted in fear. Big brother heard that and scowled and shouted, you idiot, you're an evil person and you're afraid of scarecrows. Stop babbling, determine the direction of the wind, and let the fire spread as widely as possible in the shortest possible time. I will take the seeds from the warehouse. They directly poured gasoline and oil into the fields. When they were done, they tossed the gasoline tank to a corner. The boss is upset, is that all? He ordered, "It seems this grain of rice is not normal, let's just keep a few seeds, Mansu, Jinti, you too." But before he could finish his sentence, he realized something was wrong. The leader asked, "Where have those two gone?" Another junior was bewildered, "They are always behind me." They were confused, "Huh? And where is Dusan?" Suddenly the big brother called, "Hey! Those scarecrows! Coming closer to us?" That's right, the scarecrows are certainly not normal. A crowd of straw scarecrows approached the robbers. A large scarecrow with two clubs in each hand stood right behind the big brother. But suddenly he caught himself turning around. Stare at the scarecrow's face. Then I saw a doodle like a child's drawing. He scowled and shouted, "Damn it." Then he decisively cut the straw scarecrow into two in the surprise of his junior, big brother. The big brother shouted loudly, "They really move, they are no ordinary scarecrows, they are monsters." Meanwhile, another group of scarecrows approached. A scarecrow with a happy smiling face but holding a sharp side made the junior scream in fear, "Big brother," he was confused and worried, "what should we do? No way, how can they all be monsters? Why are there any dungeon cracks?" A frightened man lay down on the ground wondering, "Sir, what are they?" "In the barrier, I have never seen anything like this before." Big brother shouted angrily, "How do I know?" He's worried, "Damned, I was in a hurry so I didn't bring many subordinates. I knew right away that there was something very strange about that mission. I will let them know if anyone dares to harm them." Suddenly, a junior pointed out to the edge of the field, "Sir, wait a minute." The big brother was still frowning, "What else?" The junior continued, "That? Isn't that a warehouse?" "That's right, there is a fairly large warehouse near the field." The big brother seemed to have struck gold. Happily, he smirked, "Found it. If the story about the magic of rice grains here is true, I will be rich." He proudly ordered, "Bring as much rice as you can to the car, the monsters just hang around in the fields. The warehouse is still normal." The big brother smiled fiercely and called his juniors to come with him, "Let's go." While walking, he stopped. It turned out that he had stepped on a mine. The worried juniors rushed to see the big brother's condition. As soon as I arrived, I saw the big brother lying flat like a cockroach on the ground. "Big brother? Why am I here?" They are extremely panicked now. Did they set mines in front of the warehouse? Who would do that? But before they could finish their sentence, they saw the Zappaner. Now, they are even more frightened, huh? Zappaner announced, "Confirmed there is an intruder." One guy stammered in fear, "Why are you here?" "That's the Jiangsu barrier." Zappaner announced again, "Remove." The power of the Zappaner is truly formidable. The next morning, I saw a group of robbers tied up in a corner. They were extremely moody. Besides them, there is also a table of rules for living and growing. 1. The first crop must have the shape of the goddess and must become a sacrifice. 2. Prohibit urination. Fertilizing is okay. 3. Build a straw scarecrow and let them wear hats, dress. 4. Singing while harvesting. If the lyrics express gratitude to the goddess, all the better. 5. Don't skip meals even if you're busy. And importantly, theft must die. Just like that, the Snake Squad was successfully captured. After the arrest of those belonging to the One Strip Association, the value of the Pantheon and the blessed rice had increased in price like crazy. Leon traveled around the country to promote consumer blessings. Even though there was a small accident, it was still passed. What he did was even published in the newspaper. The survivor insulted the reporter. To what extent should we tolerate cultural differences? At this party, survivor Leon Ha said, "How dare a commoner sit at the same table as a king?" By the end, the whole internet was talking about Pantheon. Leon gently put down the newspaper. "Make mistakes by yourself, is this what the gods have arranged? It seems like those gods have adjusted to this modern world better than me." Suddenly, Haji eagerly entered, "Here's breaking news for your majesty. The results of rice pricing are out, and now each bag is worth 230 million won." Hearing that, Leon didn't seem very happy. He is calm, "It needs to be even cheaper." Seeing that, Haji wondered, "Wouldn't it be better if it was expensive?" Leon explained, "It is the market that determines the value of the product, but for the price of something like rice to be so high, how can ordinary people afford it? God's blessings should be shared equally among everyone." Hearing that, Haji seemed to be enlightened, eyes light up, "Is that so?" Leon said angrily, "I met the president before to tell him that we need to explain to the farmers about the holy blessing, but he said that a president needs to remain religiously neutral." Seeing that, Haji hesitated a bit, "I guess, that's right." Leon continued, "Well, we still have to gain more people's trust. It must also be enough for us to be able to use the strength of the tiger's heart as well as its abilities." Haji asked worriedly, "But your majesty, is that okay?" Seeing that, Leon wondered, "What?" Haji replied, "That yellow gate, I have successfully protected it as your majesty wished, but to be able to raid that dungeon with the people he chose was almost impossible." Hearing that, Leon smiled. "Well, let's see. I don't know what he's planning." The next day, Mr. Kim happened to meet Wu again. Isn't this Mr. Wu? Seeing Mr. Kim, Wu was polite. Team leader Kim. He scratched his head in confusion. We meet again. Mr. Kim smiled and asked, are you here because of that message too? About the head of the Hunter Association recruiting hunters like us, I don't know what's going on. Mr. Wu replied a little worriedly, I don't know either. And carefully observe everyone around you, they are all D-rank hunters, the highest is around C-rank. Suddenly, a group of people stirred. Is that Han Haji? Is that an A-rank magic swordsman? Looks like she got the highest score in last year's competition. Wu still silently observed. Suddenly, there was a loudspeaker announcement. Your Majesty is coming. Noble King heard this name. Wu was a bit surprised. That person is Survivor. Wu immediately fell into thought. I knew he was not an ordinary person, but he belongs to a completely different world. Leon solemnly entered, stepped onto the platform, the condescending face looked down. He said coldly, welcome, the reason why I invited everyone here today. It's because I'm looking for warriors to join my guild, Pantheon. Hearing this, everyone was confused. Star soldiers, not a member of the association, Leon continued, these guys pass the review, those who have proven their worth, and those who were able to pass the training. I will give you the honor of joining my army. Even Wu was confused and didn't understand what was going on. Army, it's not a guild. Leon spoke again, now I will inform you about the entrance assessment test. That test is, handle the dungeon in Gassam Zone. Everyone was extremely shocked when they saw that. Can't believe my ears. What? Golden Gate. They screamed loudly, how can we handle it? Is that any different from telling us to head straight to death? What the hell kind of testing is this? Only Wu and Mr. Kim remained silent. Actually, the reactions of the hunters were completely predictable. The level and difficulty of a gate are classified by their color. Black. Red. Cam. And under them, yellow, green, blue. Considering that the gate Wu Ji-sung took during the test in Gasul was a blue gate, for a C-rank or D-rank hunter, the golden gate means death. Everyone rioted in protest. What kind of golden gate should we handle now? That's like telling us to commit suicide. The assistant had to quickly calm down the angry crowd. What order? If you do not intend to continue the inspection, you can leave. A guy with curly hair angrily walked out and shouted loudly, do you think that saying that means we won't go? Time consuming. Another person also quickly left. Now go home and go to sleep. Wu is still pondering, is it okay not to stop them? Everyone just left in droves. The last people left. There were less than 20 people left in the auditorium. Leon silently observed. He pointed at a boy, the other person. He felt he was being called, scared to turn pale, confused. Yes, me, Leon spoke loudly. Yes, you, that guy with curly hair. He asked, why did you decide to stay? The curly-haired guy was sweating profusely and stammering, that's because, I think there's still some problem behind. Hearing this answer, Leon was bored. I understand. He continued to ask others, so what about you? I guess I'm just staying for fun. I think so. What about you? My friend stayed so. Then he stroked his chin again, thinking, then pointed at Wu, you, why do you stay here? See, being called, Wu was a bit panicked. He was silent, think carefully, a guild created someone who was almost an S-class hunter. I must seize this opportunity, think so, he said loudly, I thought he wouldn't let us die there so I decided to stay. Hear a satisfactory answer, Leon was satisfied, that's a good attitude, you are also smart and quick-witted. Then he slowly walked down to the contestants, I said so, I'm here to gather soldiers. He affirmed firmly, a soldier's duty is to obey orders. You accepted the call of a knight without the slightest doubt, believe in the loyalty and strength of a knight. That's all you have to do. Leon smiled at them, that means, listen and follow orders. Then don't hesitate too long, he immediately announced, we will depart immediately, please bring your personal equipment and complete your preparations. Soon, they arrived at the gold level gate at Gassam Zone. Contestants are provided with armor and weapons like a real knight, they formed a formation and walked together. Mr. Kim was adjusting his armor and exclaimed, wow, it's a bit heavy, but the equipment is quite good. Honestly, he had never been exposed to this kind of fine armor before, aren't all of these rare? This alone is worth 10 million won. C-level and D-level hunters like us have never had our hands on equipment like this before. Meanwhile, Wu is still a bit dissatisfied with his weapon, shield, I'm an offensive player. Mr. Kim observed for a while then had a small question. But that king didn't bring any equipment with him. Seeing Mr. Kim wondering, Wu decided to ask for Ms. Han Haji. Haji warmly, a hunter Wu Ji-song, is something wrong? Wu hesitantly asked, Your Majesty, why aren't you wearing armor? Haji replied, that person's skin was harder than the mechanical armor. Wu heard that and understood something, well, because he's so strong. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Before long, the exam began, and an orc was brutally and mercilessly killed. making the contest participants a bit panicked. What the hell just happened? Leon was burning with murderous intent, killing and scolding, but I didn't hear anyone speak. His eyes flashed with anger and he shouted, "You are not honorable warriors anymore, you will have to crawl like insects on the ground and face death there, and that is, my eternal justice," screaming at you while swinging my sword mercilessly. It was late afternoon, the group of contestants marched together, one person spoke up, "What luck? Looks like we don't need to fight when we follow him." Suddenly there was a notification from the mission system board, "Mercenaries from outside, on this vast steppe, a war is taking place between tribes, ally with one of the two tribes and help them win." Wu curiously pressed the screen, NPC support quest. Another person asked, "Mr. Wu, does it seem like a faction selection mission?" Wu immediately replied, "Yes, I think we must choose one of the two tribes in the war and lead them to victory." The other person continued, "The question here is, who will be more beneficial to choose?" Suddenly, Wu pointed into the distance and shouted loudly, "Wait, isn't that an army of monsters?" Just as Wu said, a very powerful army came from afar. It turned out that orcs came riding wild boars. A fat guy with a scarred face rolled his eyes fiercely. He pulled out his sharp axe blade. Then the whole group stopped in front of Leon's group. They were extremely numerous, surrounding them. The guy holding the axe from before shouted, "Who are you? This is the territory of our Battle Axe clan, how dare you invade our territory?" Everyone saw this and remained silent. And Leon was angry, his face as red as a tomato, veins all over his face, growling, "You bastards." Haji saw that and immediately guessed what he was planning to do, so he quickly intervened, "Your Majesty, calm down." She softened her voice and persuaded him, "First of all, why don't we follow the mission scenario this time?" Leon frowned, burning with murderous intent but still tried to hold back, angrily said, "Do whatever you like." Haji could only be helpless. "Thank you," she opened the system panel. "Seriously think." Then spoke boldly, "We are a mercenary team, because we knew that if we helped a tribe, we would get a reward, so we came here." When the orc leader heard that, he understood, he softened his voice a bit, "Mercenaries, you must be the people the clan leader mentioned, follow me." I saw a group of people hesitating forever, he raised his voice again, "Hurry up, everyone," but he did not expect this to make Leon even more angry, his eyes looked like he wanted to devour all the orcs, making Haji very worried. The group kept moving, soon the village of the axe-wielding orcs arrived. The village is so primitive that the throne is just a rotten wooden chair placed high up. Leon's group had gathered in the middle of the village, the leader observed and pondered for a long time. The leader from before was indeed the leader of the Battle Axe clan. His name is Kata, he despises comments, "You guys look uglier and weaker than I thought, but that's okay." Then loudly declared, "Please support our Battle Axe tribe, the greater the war, the more honorable the death. The winner will have it all." Now, Leon couldn't contain himself anymore, gritting teeth, glaring eyes. The voice gradually lost its humanity and could no longer bear it. Seeing that, the orc chief shouted, "What? Who are you?" He slowly walked over, the voice was full of indignation, "Honor, honor." Leon raised his voice too loudly, "You animal, you don't know anything but you're daydreaming." The patriarch was also angry when he heard it, his eyes widened, "You, insolent." But before he could attack, Leon's head was chopped off with a single sword strike. Wu witnessed the killing, blood splashed, and I couldn't believe my eyes, dull and frozen. Leon screamed, "You are not honorable warriors, just hold that dream on the ground like insects and then die." The king's battle rage arose when faced with the terrible monsters. Leon is full of strength, burning with murderous intent, he brutally killed the orc tribe's chief while screaming, "You will die," that is an undeniable truth. Up to now, 8,769,653 orcs have been purified by the king, he has achieved the title of Orc Butcher, it's a legendary title. Seeing the patriarch being purged so easily, the remaining orcs were extremely confused. What? Is the patriarch dead? They rushed madly, wanting to avenge the patriarch, these human bastards, kill them all. Seeing a group of ferocious monsters rushing towards you, Wu was extremely worried, what the hell? What's the situation? They are coming to attack us. Seeing that, Leon lost even more control, orders to soldiers, "Damn orcs, where are the troops? Raise your shield." Wu heard the order and immediately followed it, but inside he couldn't help but feel scared, damned. We're just D-rank hunters, why does he think we can defeat the orcs? Now the orcs have rushed in, one raised its axe and intended to attack Leon's group, "I will kill you now." Wu was so worried that his heart seemed about to fly out, dead. Even blocking this move is okay. But contrary to his imagination, although the attack just now was very strong, it could not penetrate the shield. He was confused, I can stop it, how could that be? While Wu was confused, the system panel appeared again. Notice board, the glory of a brave heart, effect, adds armor against enemies, the body is stronger, increase military morale, reinforce the armor and make it lighter, harder reinforcement, gains magic resistance effect, adds strength to the body against rushing attacks, adds resistance to ranged attacks, clearer and farther vision, amplifies resistance. Wu read the effects recorded on the board and was very surprised. What? These effects? Before I could recover, the system announced again, Orc Butcher, effect, adds 50% bonus damage effect against orcs. The surrounding orcs will be filled with fear, confusion and despair. Hatred of the orcs was widespread. All soldiers receive additional strength support. What the hell is this? How is that possible? Not long after, they received additional support, the living demigod, the protection of the war knight, guardian of the holy grail, dragon hunter, the one who kills the demon lord, demon hunter, shadow assassin, knights fight tenaciously, the body is agile, the level of the core members is very low, no more buffs can be granted. A kind of effect for our troops. Leon fought and guided his soldiers, put up all your defense shields, then take your sword and stab it diagonally back at their weak point. They listened to the command and put it into practice immediately and it was effective. An ordinary soldier easily destroyed a huge orc. Other people saw that and were also excited about it. Kill all these bastards. Just like that they rushed forward, continuously slaughtering orcs. As if things couldn't get any worse, another orc shouted, "The god of war will be on our side." He didn't know he had just angered the god of death. Leon paused and frowned. What? He screamed, "How dare these cruel bastards open their mouths to call the gods? You will pay the price for that. I will cut out your tongues, break your heads for daring to insult our god. Come here, S.A. Leon." As soon as he finished speaking, the space around him seemed to explode, a source of terrible power. The orcs looked at each other bewilderedly, not understanding what was going on. What the hell? Suddenly, something crashed straight into an orc's face. It turned out to be Leon Ha's war horse. He rode past, prepared to attack. Leon gathered all his strength. Slowly opened the two space gates. He summoned two weapons at once. The knight sat on the saddle, 2 hands and 2 swords, to the surprise of the orcs. He said coldly, "I will kill all of you monsters." Another orc fell. The whole village now has only a few sparse subjects. Leon raised his sword high. Laugh out loud and triumphant, scream loudly, "Victors, this is an honorable victory." See that, everyone was confused, reluctantly follow, "We have won, so lucky." Haji came to Leon hesitantly, "Yes, your majesty." Leon replied innocently, "Yes, Haji? What's going on?" Haji questioned, "Why? Why did you do that?" But Leon just replied calmly, "What reason is needed to kill orcs?" Haji was worried when he heard that. What? But the mission is support the orcs. Just heard that. Leon was irritated. Bullshit. I'd rather jump into the fire pit than help these bastards. He clenched his teeth. They don't deserve respect, just their existence is an insult to this world. Leon was openly disgusted with orcs. Yes, they may be strong, but how can they compare to the courage of knights? Do not treat them like humans, they are disgusting monsters. Hearing that, Haji froze. He discriminates against orcs. She defended, "But your majesty, there must be a kind orc somewhere in this world." Seeing that, Leon sighed and smirked. "Remember this, my innocent girl, if there really were good orcs, they would all go to hell. Orcs, huge creature with a strange appearance, green skin, and cruel expression. After the gates on Earth were opened, many surviving orcs migrated here through the gates. The Earth also happily welcomes them, regardless of species or appearance. They welcomed orcs with cheerfulness. However, the prospect of peaceful coexistence between orcs and humans could not happen. Orcs cannot live in harmony with humans. Their bloodthirsty and aggressive nature is not diminished by the welcome of humanity, which is an opportunity for them to brutally massacre humanity. So the orcs became a difficult problem for Earthlings. Having arrived, the Zappaner stopped in front of the fast-flowing river and made a sound. "If you throw that down here they will all die." "Couldn't be simpler," hear Zappaner say. King Leon Ha continued, "Thanks to you. Don't let me be disappointed." As if afraid of others seeing them, Leon Ha and Han Haji were forced to wear scarves to disguise themselves. The scarf has a concealing effect but is pink with adorable bunny motifs. It seems that King Leon Ha is a man who loves the color pink and hates lies. Receiving a firm word from Leon Ha, the Zappaner began to initiate the nuclear overload process. 99.9% loaded, a cylindrical tablet was formed under the action of the Zappaner. Yellow light emitted from the Zappaner, illuminating the entire corner. Nuclear overload, conversion of cryogenic system, filling of fuel rods, conducting nuclear fusion reaction. Witness Zappaner do this. Our King Leon Ha still maintains his composure, but Han Haji is completely different from him. She widened her eyes and opened her mouth, extremely surprised by the magical ability of the Zappaner. The light gradually went out. The Zappaner completed its mission. Next, move closer to the riverbank. Then throw the light blue pill I just created into the riverbed. Looking at the shape of the pellets that the Zappaner threw into the riverbed, Han Haji had an extremely interesting comparison. "That looks like shit, right?" Hearing those poor words coming from Han Haji's mouth, Leon Ha sternly reminded him not to talk nonsense. Knowing the purpose of this action, Han Haji asked again, "But your majesty, is this okay?" As if he didn't understand Han Haji's question, Li Yanha asked again, what do you mean? Eliminate the orcs, by exposing the river to radiation, doesn't it go against the spirit of chivalry you're pursuing? Han Haji's question really made our king feel awkward. The respected king smiled mysteriously, well, it's not a bit sinister. He then decided to explain his noble ideals to the two of them. Listen, both Haji and Zappaner. Fighting with those green-skinned guys is not a war or a duel, but it's like a hunting convention. Since it's hunting, who has the free time to still have honor and dignity? Hearing Li Yanha say that with such dignity, it was only natural, Han Haji grumbled, this name discriminates against this type of orc. King Li Yanha was still talking endlessly about his orc discrimination speech. He gave an evil smile. There are no good orcs, only letting them go to hell is the only peace. The scene changes to the orcs fighting each other. A loud scream rang out. The sword in this orc's hand slashed straight down. A massacre took place. Many orcs fell, but there was not the slightest bit of sadness in the air. What a sadness. But the surviving orc only let out cheers of joy and pleasure. Coulda smashed Galen's head. Nice axe swing, brother. Looking at a Galen brother who just collapsed in front of his kite, Coulda just looked and commented, you fought very bravely, may the god of war send you to the eternal battlefield. What a bunch of barbarians, they kill each other when nothing happens. Coulda, celebrate your victory, drink it, Coulda. The cheers rang out endlessly. Coulda also listened to the cheers and approached the water basin next to him. As a winner, Coulda picked up the water basin without hesitation. He drank in a majestic manner. Each drop of pure water slowly poured straight into the barbarian orc's mouth. He drank it all without leaving a single drop, but how could he know? This is one of the things that brings him closer to hell. Drink all that water, Orc Coulda commented. The water tastes a bit strange today, it's spicy. It seems he also noticed the difference in this water basin, but the orc's single-celled brain made it impossible for him to sense the danger of this water source. But never mind, I'm probably still covered in blood from that battle just now. Orc Coulda threw the water basin and walked back to their lair. Wizard, there he was filled with the painful and pleading screams of the orcs. This is Coulda's name from earlier. It seemed the pot of water he drank had worked. This guy held his stomach in pain and shouted loudly, Wizard, wizard. Where are you? Help me. I can't stand it anymore, just screaming. Coulda just crawled out because the pain made him unable to stand up anymore. His face is streaked with tears. Even so, he couldn't help but be stunned by the scene before his eyes. Outside, orcs lay scattered on the ground. They also suffer from the same pain as Coulda. Help, wizard. The orc wizard's powerful staff fell to the ground. I've never seen anything like this. It's not magic, it's a curse. Someone cursed in our clan. What are you doing? See this dangerous situation. The orc, which was also frightened, he fell down and backed away with a panicked look on his face. His face is streaked with tears. Suddenly a sound entered the orc wizard's ears. Bring glory to your majesty. At the same time he turned around, a punch hit him straight in the face from Li Yanha. He shouted loudly, all warriors. Kill them all for me, don't let anyone survive, with a scary and determined look on his face. Activate poison resistance. The brothers in Li Yanha's army immediately rushed forward without hesitation. Come on guys, it's free experience, kill them all. Li Yanha's army rushed straight into the orc camp. The orcs who were writhing in pain and clutching their stomachs also struggled to stand up to protect their territory. The army rushed in bravely, that's like a tiger. Standing before the swords of human warriors, the orcs, unable to resist, could only curse in vain. What a bunch of cowards. Die, but before he could finish cursing, his head left his neck, blood spurted non-stop. The war only lasted for a short time, mainly the massacre of Li Yanha's army. The Battle Axe tribe was wiped out. All orcs have become your enemies. You are the common enemy of the entire orc race. After this battle, the mission system displays the text. Hidden mission formed, destroy all orcs on the battlefield. Seeing that, Han Haji quickly told Li Yanha, Your Majesty, the mission has been changed. Li Yanha said happily and smiled, great, now this is the real mission. He then continued speaking to the soldiers in his legion, O my warriors, it's time to bring light and justice to this land. I thought everything was over, but Orc Coulda suddenly appeared and shouted loudly. Li Yanha saw that and was very angry, is there a fish left in the net? That orc named Coulda spoke as if it was a huge discovery, it is you, who brought the curse to the river. An evil, cowardly race. Yet you dare call yourself a warrior? Hearing the insults of the orc Coulda, Li Yanha was extremely angry. He dares to doubt my status as a warrior? He immediately turned around and spoke with a scary look, what do you say? That Coulda guy continued to say things that angered Li Yanha. It's true that I haven't shed a tear since I've seen the coffin, brainless bastard, a bastard who only knows the Song of Fame. Luckily, I couldn't even see the person from before, otherwise, it's too dirty for the eyes. At that time, Li Yanha was about to go crazy, but he still held back and said the last words to that idiot Coulda with no eyes, those orcs. It seems like you don't realize they're all dead, right? Low-class races like you deserve it. I am giving them the opportunity to free themselves from their ugliness by cursing all of them. The filthy animals all died. Li Yanha spoke in an insolent tone, causing the witch to shout angrily, insolent. Kuda, I will not forgive you. Along with that, a bunch of black smoke with blue edges like the skin of orcs rose up. Do you think I will give you time to perform magic? Lianha also quickly took out his ultimate weapon from the air. Then, without wasting a moment, he hurled his spear straight at the remaining orc. The long spear shot quickly with the force of Lianha's hand, creating a golden streak in the air like the light of a god. The spear stuck into the orc's body, blood flows non-stop. The arrogant Kuda had eyes but couldn't see the Tai mountain and was certain of death in his hands. Even so, he still did not give up his unfinished chant. Even though his mouth was bleeding, he couldn't stop muttering. Then he said very proudly, "It was too late for humanity." A black hole appeared from the ground like a black hole, but this black hole doesn't suck everything in, but only absorbs the orc's black strands of power. Kuda is crazy. From that black hole appeared streams of power filled with evil energy, gathering together in mid-air a black round ball. "Look at the black thing that suddenly appeared in the sky," Han Haji shouted. "Sire, that thing is something," Lianha replied contemptuously. "Are you crazy? What a bunch of animals, no wonder their civilization cannot develop." The circle above his head grew larger and larger. A huge hand suddenly grew out of it. It was also a blue hand like the orcs, but much bigger. That huge arm slammed into the ground once, sending dirt and rocks flying everywhere. Kuda saw this and became arrogant, proudly speaking to Lianha and the others. "Look here." At the same time, the system's mission notification bar also sounded. Hidden mission. Expect Guda's wrath. That mission is to destroy Guda, the sorcerer of the orc tribe. The orc's giant arms stretched out and waved everywhere. Witnessing that, Lianha's expression remained unchanged. His eyes also passed through the darkness to see this world where he was summoned. Seeing a familiar figure, he clasped his hands and placed them over his eyes to see more clearly. The face reflected in his eyes was Lianha's stern face. The sound of crisis came from the giant orc. Unacceptable. This was followed by a powerful attack. A blue light from his eyes shined straight down on Lianha's position. Along with that came a sound like a turtle curse. "Go die." A huge explosion occurred under the pressure of the attack. No one saw Lianha. Han Haji called out worriedly, "Sire. Even though I know for sure that nothing will happen to him, sire. I am the guardian god here." The giant orc talked about his own identity. Also asked, "Lianha, who is your patron god?" Hearing those very insolent words made Lianha feel insulted. Someone like you dares to ask that question. After that, he immediately used heavenly protection and continued, This guy calls himself the superior of these cruel people. How dare you admit that you are a god?" With that, his power exploded. Around Lianha, a large fire seemed to flare up. That is the power of a demigod. He took out weapons from his space to deal with this bastard who dared to call himself a god. This time, the weapon he took out was a sharp sword. Riding his steed straight to that bastard, Lianha continued to say, "This king cannot let you continue to exist anymore." Seeing that, the giant orc was still confident in his own strength. He raised his giant arm to strike down and spoke contemptuously, "A small mortal like you. But you dare to oppose me?" As soon as he finished speaking, his arm followed suit and slammed the gun straight towards Lianha and his steed. Lianha just calmly waited for that arm to approach. Then he slashed once, and the sword cut was as smooth as shaving. In just a split second, the orc's large arm received a series of damage from Lianha's blade. Without any obstacle, that guy's hand fell straight to the ground, severed. The orc's eyes widened in disbelief. He couldn't understand how a small mortal could cut off his arm so simply. Seeing his hand rolling on the cold ground, the giant orc quickly withdrew his arm cowardly. That guy stammered, "Why, even though you only cut a doll and not my real body, why do I feel pain?" The mysterious magic user couldn't understand why things were like this. Why do their gods seem weaker than this mortal? Then the orc found a reason to hold on, a reason for him not to feel humiliated when he was seriously injured by a single blow from Lianha. Yes, that's right, it's because of it, it's because of the sword, it's the holy sword. The moment he recognized the sword, he also realized the identity of the person holding it, which was you. The orc butcher, the demon hunter, the knight abandoned in that world with demons. When we realized Lianha's identity, even though only one eye appeared, we could still feel cold sweat flowing down his back. Then there is a very wise choice coming from the position of the orc god. Well, let's go. I can finally understand why this guy lived so long. The decision is very decisive. When you meet the supreme being, you have to run quickly, right? But how can the person who calls him out understand such a profound reason? He could only be bewildered by that action. What? Sir? Why did you disappear? Before completely disappearing, the giant did not forget to leave his last words to that stupid orc. You will pay the price for what you have done. See you again another time. Acting like relatives care about each other very much. Seeing the giant disappear, Lianha carried his sword to the orc wizard and said, he said he was the god of these orcs. Turns out it was just that, my god ran away like that, causing the witch to shed tears. He couldn't do anything because he had run out of options. I can only scold Lianha one last time, you bastard. What tricks did you play? I will avenge my brothers. It's very eloquent, but it's just a swipe of Lianha's hand, blood spurted out and his head fell to the ground. The witch is no longer in this world. He is also the last orc that needs to be destroyed. Lianha said in disgust, this evil thing makes an effort, but it's better for someone like you not to live. The system did not interrupt but immediately displayed a notification, you have completed the hidden quest, all participants receive an Orc Hunter badge, all will receive the title of warrior under the cover of night. Effective Orc Hunter title when facing orcs, receive 30% more damage, effective warrior under the cover of night, gain 20% increased defense when fighting alongside a knight with the War Knight attribute. Everyone was amazed at the skill buffs they received, all have added physical armor, something only tankers should have. They began to discuss among themselves, so great, what else? It's a pity because it can only be applied when encountering orcs, another person said, but that's 30%, and it also increases physical defense. Interrupting everyone's chatter, Lianha shouted, pick up all the loot. Move quickly, the winner's right is to have more items. Everyone did not hesitate and quickly spread out to harvest the spoils. We must hurry, let's go, pick them all up. The spoils they received made them feel more spiritual. Prioritize those guys who are tall and look high-ranking. Once done, pick up the sorcerer's equipment as well. Han Haji suddenly approached and spoke, Your Majesty. Lianha also immediately responded, what is up? Haji then looked towards the giant hand that Lianha had just slashed down and asked, the thing is, what should I do with that thing? Lianha replied, the fake god's hand still hasn't disappeared, the orc god's severed arm. Beezy, suddenly the Zappaner's sound came out. Lianha asked, what do you want to say, Zappaner? A mechanical sound came from the Zappaner, a new message has been sent. Then the Zappaner's eyes emitted light reflecting the figure of a god, an affectionate voice came out, Lianha, I can feel a significant amount of power from the other arm. Absorb its power with the Holy Grail, then we will research it so we can further assist you. Lianha was surprised, oh really? But he did not doubt or hesitate at all before the god's words and immediately took out the holy cup. He approached that hand, the arm lay limp on the ground. Lianha raised the Holy Grail, aimed straight towards the arm. Divine light emitted and covered that giant blue arm. That arm's energy gradually emitted and flowed towards the Holy Grail in Lianha's hand. That arm was covered with light and gradually disappeared. Wait just a moment, light filled the Holy Grail in Lianha's hand. Feel an energy, Lianha thought angrily. I can feel the energy equivalent to the power of a god. It seemed like that monster really worshipped this guy at that time. However, those animals who do not recognize the true creator are not allowed to live. It is an absolute evil that must be eradicated. Lianha's thoughts are like that of that heretical fanatic. Suddenly, the voice of a goddess rang in Lianha's head, my knight, you also immediately closed your eyes, respond politely, carefully and humbly, are you human? Goddess. He felt guilty for not being able to bow before his beloved goddess, how can I hear your voice but not perform the ceremony? But his goddess was very gentle and comforting, it's okay, you're absorbing the monster's divine power, it's okay to skip it. She then talked about the reason she appeared, behind that are the other gods in the background, the reason I came to find you is because I need you to choose, with it, I think you can restore the power of the relic you want. Lianha was amazed at the effect that hand brought, really? That's right, but you can only choose one so I'll wait for your answer, my beloved knight. The god of war spoke loudly, choose the sword, King Lianha. Of course, the god of war was scolded for his rudeness, be quiet, god of war. Lianha silently thought about which relic he should use to restore the power of the relic. He is in possession of 4 holy objects. The holy spear, the holy sword, the holy grail and the lion's heart. Consider carefully, check each sacred item one by one, the power of the holy sword is already quite large so there is no need. Then, Lianha's eyes opened, at the same time, a decision was also made. I choose to restore the power of the holy grail, the gods immediately responded, okay. The holy grail gradually flew out of Lianha's arm, divine light surrounds the holy grail. The closer the light, the darker and brighter the entire area. Very quickly the holy grail restored its original divine power. And gradually the holy grail returned to Lianha. The process of restoring divine power is complete. Take away the holy grail whose power has been restored. Lianha smiled and looked satisfied, this harvest is not bad. As soon as he finished speaking, Han Haji's panicked voice continued to ring out, Your Majesty. Lianha turned around and asked, what's so noisy? Han Haji said, you should probably go there for a moment. Look at Haji's empty head, Lianha asked about his engineer, where is Zappaner? Hearing that, Haji seemed to have difficulty speaking, about that, it seems this is the reason why Lianha needs to go over there. The sound of arguing from afar quickly echoed even as Lianha and Han Haji were still chatting, attracting the attention of 2 people, leave me alone, this damn robot. Quickly flowing to the ground, looks like someone was injured. A maniac shouted loudly, what's wrong with everyone? Want to help me? This damn robot, with those words, his whole body appeared, his whole body was wrapped tightly by the Zappaner, unable to move. Kirik, because he can't speak, the Zappaner can only glare at him and make strange sounds like that. The tied man's face was filled with panic and shame, he lay curled up in front of everyone around him, it looked so pitiful. To avoid him from running away, the gentle and attentive Zappaner jumped on top of him. But as soon as Leon Ha approached, the Zappaner immediately jumped down and trotted towards him. Witnessing this, Leon Ha remained very calm, because perhaps he was confident that his knight wouldn't suddenly tie someone up for no reason. The bastard was tied to the Zappaner's inability to speak human language and spoke up to accuse first, "This damn robot is attacking me," but perhaps because he was too annoyed with this one-sided boast, Leon Ha spoke up and stopped. His expression became scary. "Does your knight dare to scold you for being damned? If you don't want your tongue cut out, you should pay attention to your language." That guy immediately knew he had said something wrong and immediately corrected it. What a robot. Before he could finish his sentence, a strange mechanical sound suddenly emitted, scaring him to death. "Hey, where is that lowly thing that dares to call a knight like that? What? This robot knows what to say." Leon Ha didn't care and just turned around to ask, "What's the matter, Mr. Zappaner?" Then the venerable robot knight immediately responded, "Thieves take the spoils of war." That guy didn't know how to explain it for a while, can only stutter, "What?" What followed was a series of explanations that made no sense. "No, that's not it, this idiot. Oh no, it's just a misunderstanding." Leon Ha was also tired of listening to him babble all this time. He immediately told the solution. Whether there was a misunderstanding or not, search and find out. Haji, search him. Oh yes, Haji also immediately followed the orders given. She put on an angry face and approached the guy to search despite his objections. "Wait a minute, dare to scold your Zappaner? Do you really believe this robot's words? Wait a minute," but his objections did not have any lethal force. He was stripped naked before the people of the world. As expected, an unusual object was found in his body. Opening the package, Han Haji discovered it. This is the heart of the warrior leader of the orc tribe. This is the most valuable loot in this orc territory. How dare you? Surely you know that embezzling valuable booty like this is a serious crime, right? Even though he was caught, that guy still tried to argue. Was that just a misunderstanding? "I didn't steal it, I absolutely did." Before he could finish speaking, Leon Ha walked over and cut off his arm. No one could have predicted this action of his. "My hand!" An earth-shattering scream rang out at the same time the severed arm fell to the ground. "I know your laws and perceptions are different from mine, but now you have entered Leon Ha's army. Then what you must obey is not the old law or order but the military law of Leon Ha. This is the law of this king, also the king's law. Anyone who can't follow, please raise your hand right here. If you steal, your hand will be cut off. That is the national law of the Leon Ha kingdom. The laws and rules here are truly difficult for earthlings to accept." Everyone was also talking excitedly. "Seems a bit excessive. Is that enough to cut someone's hand off? However, a series of famous support buffs, a D-level person like me can reach C-level, no, maybe even better, standing in front of absolute benefits, everyone submits. If I give up now, it would be too bad. Isn't stealing wrong in the first place? Originally, there were no laws in the dungeon gate. Having some strict rules might be a good thing." Suddenly someone spoke up. "That's the matter, your majesty." "Yes." Leon Ha interrupted the soldier's words. "Say your name, soldier." He took off his hat. It was a familiar face and introductions began. "My name is Wu Ji-song. What do you want to say?" Wu Ji-song continued to stutter his presentation. "The thing is, the thief's arm, can you allow me to take it away? Do you want to reconnect with him?" Listen to Leon Ha's words. Although scared, Wu Ji-song still answered firmly, "Yes." "But, then the punishment has no meaning anymore. Your remonstrance is resisting my Leon Ha's punishment." I know that, but," Wu Ji-song still courageously expressed her opinion. "Sire, we are people with different perceptions than you. This time you have told us about that rule. So I hope you can give us a chance, Listen to that, Leon Ha's attitude also seemed to calm down. "What you say makes sense. Please forgive me, your majesty." Leon Ha walked towards the guy whose hand he had just cut off. "You should be grateful that your comrade knows how to reason." As he spoke, he took out his holy grail. Then, he poured holy water from the chalice. Water that guy's wound. This is it, the light shines on his face. What is that? The severed hand has regenerated. The regeneration mark does not show any seams. It was as if that arm had been unharmed from the start. Even if it's an S-level healer, it can only reattach a hand that has been severed and cannot regenerate it like that. That level of recovery power is even stronger than an S-level healer. Wu Ji-song was amazed at Leon Ha's abilities. Can one person wield such power? Go away, Leon Ha absolutely hates this guy. I forgive you this time out of respect for your old laws, but you have lost your dignity. That guy didn't even dare to breathe. We can only give thanks continuously. Thank you, your majesty. Please forgive me, your majesty. He then shouted loudly towards the legion. The soldiers who joined our military camp stayed. Those who don't enter can share the spoils and leave. The soldiers looked at each other silently and then made a decision. This is the opportunity, must do it at all costs. No one can bear to let go. Such a good opportunity to get stronger. Looks like no one left foolishly. Leon Ha smiled and said, great, then prepare for training now. I hope that there won't be anyone here who can't stand the training to the point of having to leave. Bring your loot with you, we go back. Walked behind everyone, Haji asked Leon Ha, "What is it, your majesty? What will the next training session be?" He just smiled lightly and replied, "Physical training. Everyone has returned to the real world." Uncle Wu. What's wrong with your face? Could it be that you joined the new gate attack team? Yes, sitting still I feel my whole body itching. You're harming yourself like that, one fits two, just right, huh, yes. It's still noisy down there, Han Haji shouted loudly. His Majesty Dragonier Leon Ha and the Holy Grail Knight Zappaner arrive. Everyone immediately became quiet and strictly lined up. First words, Leon Ha sent his congratulations. Congratulations on passing the simple test just now. When you came to my military camp, you more or less had shortcomings, but that can be gradually improved later. Hearing Leon Ha's words, many people resented him. The orc tunnel gate is simple. Watching you fight, we also discovered a few problems of our own. The most important thing is still the body. We all started out as D or C level. Leon Ha continued, so I decided to train your bodies first. From now on, you will train according to the curriculum specifically for the standing army of the Leon Ha Kingdom. Everyone thinks that the training curriculum for standing troops is similar to Gene's training muscles like in the Middle Ages, even the image was imagined. Body training, in short, is still muscle training. Training your muscles means overloading your body to expand its limits. Leon Ha smiled a bit creepy and evil. The Holy Grail Knight, the one who wrote the training curriculum for standing troops, the one who defeated the giants, Mr. Gata said. The more people fight, the stronger and more resilient they become. What a quote. Everyone was stunned. What? Fight what? If so, how should soldiers who take on the task of protecting the kingdom train? Of course, we have to do things differently than normal farmers. Therefore, to achieve the highest training effectiveness, Mr. Gata proposed this plan. That is to let soldiers fight with their heads cut and their foreheads bruised, their whole bodies bruised, and then help them restore them to normal. By doing so, not only will your muscles become stronger, but your vision of movement will also improve because you will also have to avoid being hit. Leon is extremely proud of the method he came up with. What? Hearing that strange type of exercise makes everyone confused and scared. Leon held out a finger and said, "Now are you guys going to start fighting?" Now, the king's finger points straight to the sky. Leon raised his head and looked down as if he were looking at a disgusting group of people. Now you start fighting until your muscles rip and your fists bleed. Even better, it breaks bones. No, ruin it. Everyone's sweat below was flowing continuously. They were super worried about Leon's decision but did not dare to deny his words. No, that's silly, your majesty. No, that's not necessarily wrong. But your majesty, if that's what you mean, my body won't be able to handle it. Leon really had nothing more to say. Until now this army still does not understand what he means. How could that be? The Holy Grail was pulled out of nowhere? He placed it on the table. Surrounded by layers of golden yellow aura, true to the name it received. Leon Ha retracted his hand, looked at the Holy Grail that had just been given its power, and spoke, "Please feel grateful for receiving the protection of the Holy Grail." "Hey Mr. Wu," the old man next to you pointed at your face. "So that's your wound healing." Both were surprised. The recovery speed is neither fast nor slow. Normally, as if nothing happened, no one would know they were being restored. Why is that? No one noticed. Leon Ha now explains, wherever there is a Holy Grail, all the soldiers are healed, and if you drink from the Grail even your bones will be regenerated, let alone your muscles. So I give you 5 hours, during that time you can punch me if you see anyone. The words just ended. Everyone below gasped in surprise, but perhaps there was about to be a big battle there. Leon added, "Don't collude with each other, attack your opponents with all the moves you can think of." This is like Leon wants to train his soldiers in real combat experience and not let anyone die. This cup regaining its power is beneficial, not harmful. If anyone intentionally fails to do so, this king himself will teach you a lesson. As he spoke, his eyes were filled with murderous intent, looking truly terrifying. Then he turned around and left, leaving the Holy Grail for everyone to deal with. "Okay Mr. Zappaner, thanks to you, the people below still couldn't believe this. We have to train in this barbaric way." It is indeed true, this training session was much harsher than the previous ones. Everyone looked at each other simultaneously, but no one said anything. Then there were a few moments of looking at each other in silence, like we were about to have a confrontation. It's so embarrassing, haha, hee. Suddenly Zappaner alarmed, detecting a violation. Han Haji was also surprised that even before the training started, there were already people breaking the law. Immediately after that, a blue whip fell between the two people standing there. It seemed they wanted to combine with each other but were immediately discovered by the Zappaner. Fight, go. Zappaner is still really something too scary for everyone here, it said. If you don't comply, I will take care of you. All thoughts of cooperation in everyone's minds seemed to be extinguished. It seems the only way is to fight. Immediately after that, the two guys who had just been discovered collaborating immediately took action. Damn it, die. We are not that easy to eat. Having finished speaking, people and families rush to fight. Soon this area became a chaotic area. Many people go into crazy attack mode and hope to be the victor. In general, it's very chaotic. In that chaotic space, there are still people who can't believe their eyes. He froze, watching everyone fight without knowing what to do. He shouted, "Everyone is crazy. This whole thing is so crazy." Actually, in that space, there are still people who are defenseless and stand still, and whatever happens, happens. A straight punch also landed directly on his right jaw. Now the screaming is over. Everyone rushed into the chaos. Now let's take a look at the timeline of the hunters who applied to join Leon's army. 9 a.m., fun military training. I am of iron skin. Everyone saw someone's face and punched that person in the face. No one gives in to anyone. 12 noon, lunch is filtered water. I can't believe this training session is tougher than I imagined. How can you keep punching after lunch like that? But it's not over yet. Lunch was brought. Everyone was wondering, but no one dared to say anything. Is that a water bottle? But a brave warrior stood up and asked, "Miss Haji, what is this?" But from the look on her face, she really didn't know how to explain it. Well, this looks so timid. Leon stood nearby and spoke frankly. "That's your lunch, water mixed with salt and sugar," he said with a straight face. But everyone soon had strange expressions like being struck by lightning. Been fighting all day. Lunch was water and I felt like I had no strength left. Now also mix salt and sugar into the water. It really makes people feel like they are in heaven, but it's the type that dies and comes back to life. Who puts salt and sugar in water? In the military training manual, it says, "Everyone, don't worry, the army will take care of you." But it's actually a scam. This is the type of food that only feeds enough to not die. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, tactical training. This time, it was time to cooperate. Right now divide into 5 teams to block the king's attack. But this condition is not easy at all. They thought with horror, how can I stop Leon from attacking? And whatever happens, it will happen. Even if it was a team of 100 people, it wouldn't be able to withstand the attacks of a tormenting god like Sir Leon. They were all blown away, screaming out of pain. 9 p.m, baby, go to sleep. But actually, this is the time to faint. Everyone in the army had bandages all over their bodies, lying limp as if about to die. The Holy Grail operates at full capacity and cannot do anything more. While sleeping, he was also attacked. This is literally hellish training. But they were able to endure thanks to Haji's care. At midnight, she called everyone up. "Everyone, let's have some dinner tonight." This is truly the angel Haji. Everyone seemed to be revived, because she gave them life. "Oh man, thank you, lady." However, everything was within Leon's calculations, but no hunter could know that. Everyone happily ate in happiness. These are all the best meals of their lives. Super harsh training sessions continued in succession. Wu Ji-song was swinging her sword alone in her armor along with her sword and shield until late afternoon. Indeed, when practicing without armor and shields, it is simple, but when tested, it is much more difficult than imagined. Every time you attack, a bunch of calories go out, but Wu Ji-song was still not discouraged. Practice mindfulness. But indeed, it is very difficult. It's true that everything is simple in theory until it comes to practice. This sword is heavier than me, so swinging the sword is also more difficult. While raising the shield in an attack position was quite limited, in the end it seemed like thrusting the sword was the only way to attack. He continued to practice sword thrusting. But at that moment, a voice rang out, "Wrong," startling Wu Ji-song. "That's the king." He walked forward wearing a white shirt. He said, "Stop swinging your sword around now. Stand from a distance," he said, "maintain your posture and try again." "Yes." Wu Ji-song once again stood up and took a stance, preparing to attack. Leon stood next to him, watching his every move, his arms still folded. Wu Ji-song also started swinging his sword. But all he did was skewer forward. At this point, Wu Ji-song stopped for a moment, turned to look at Leon's expression, eager to hear his comment. But what Leon said was still wrong. He stepped forward and lifted Wu Ji-song's shield. He said, "You always have the habit of lowering your shield when thrusting your sword. That's where you're wrong. The shield will protect your right shoulder and you standing next to him. Even if it blocks your vision, don't lower your shield." Wu Ji-song wondered, "Why?" "When you do that," Leon said, "a void will be created. It is the gap that creates loopholes. That is the place where you will die because it is the place that every monster loves to see. My king, your strategy is that we will put up shields to hold back the enemy while the knights attack, right?" "That's right, fighting while blocking is a basic tactic on the battlefield." Wu Ji-song imagines a real war, he said, "but if the enemy is a monster, we probably can't apply that tactic." Leon didn't say anything more. But his face looked uncomfortable. "It's true that the king rarely listens to other people's opinions. Are you teaching me how to fight?" Wu Ji-song at this moment could only laugh. "No, I wouldn't dare." After listening, he returned to normal and was as friendly as before. He began to talk about the past. "In my world there are tons of monsters like the ones you encountered at those dungeon gates. No, it's more than that. The monsters at those gates are even cuter. It sounds like you've become a sick person." He went on to say, "We had to face a monster over 20 meters tall, a troll with infinite regeneration ability, multi-headed snakes, giant spiders with dozens of baby spiders, dragons bigger than mountains. So to deal with monsters like us we have to learn many different fighting methods, in addition to having quick reflexes and improvisation skills. And that is the ability you will have after going through a long period of hard training. He asked, do you have decades of experience fighting monsters and training with gods? With just a sword and a spear, can you win every battle with honor? Wu Jisong also understands very well, understand where your own strength is stopping, understand where you are standing still. It's completely impossible to do what he said, just bow your head and stay silent. Leon continued to add, I think you understand, the reason why I only teach soldiers one thing is because omnipotence is a quality found only in a true gentleman. Just by perfecting that ability, your survival rate will increase. However, Wu Jisong clenched his fists and looked into nothingness with rather unconfident eyes. I confess, I want Leo to reach a higher position. After hearing those words, Leon smiled. It seemed that this Wu Jisong guy had his own goal. As long as Leon makes him more confident, he will definitely be determined to become stronger. Leon had already guessed the wish of Wu Jisong, who wanted to become a knighthood, but it seems that's not the case. He again showed that he was not worthy of the title of Holy Knight. How dare a commoner like me do anything? He continued, it's not like only nobles can be knights. Leon sighed, don't judge my kingdom with your world's common sense. Not only nobles can become knights, yes. Wu Jisong attentively listened to every word Leon said. That person must be willing to walk on a path full of suffering for a noble mission. He is someone who always protects the people and does good with courage. He swore to dedicate his life to the goddess and her people. Listening to this, it's like you're talking about yourself. Those who can perform that sacred task are worthy of becoming knights. He looked at the sunset behind the foot of the mountain. The light was gradually fading. He continued to speak. You need to have enough courage and qualifications to do that. And also to receive respect from me. At this point, Wu Jisong realized that she was herself. I was wrong. Understand everything Leon said. He wants to become a paladin. He also looked towards the sun that was about to set on the other side of the hill, but his eyes were no longer shy and timid like before, but instead had a confident look that could do anything. I also want to become a knight. He finally saw through his own dream, the dream that he had personally crushed with his own prejudice for so long. The sky has now turned dark. At the Magic Tower in the United States, a bitter sound rang out. Damn it, even if we set aside some free time to do it. The old man looked at the planet emitting a magical darkness on the table. Oh my lord, I believed you would return. But this supreme being looked really uncomfortable. You idiot, shut up and get down quickly. Yes. Came the voice from the planet. I will teach you the truth and wisdom of Samra, so, of course you must obey me and know what I say. The old man kneeling on the ground soon realized that things were getting more serious. His voice has changed. First, cast the spatial teleportation spell on the stone. In an emergency, just throw it into the air. I don't understand why it has to be so picky. What? Why is that? I know those stones are tools for teleportation, but... Angry, that voice is angry. Are you crazy? Do you think I'll go to hell without insurance to get back? Listen carefully, I will never appear on that planet while that bastard is still breathing properly. This planet suddenly reappeared with a completely different goal. This old believer was extremely puzzled. But since I'm here, I'll soon find a way to kill him. Without the victorious knights and his army here, I would have no chance of doing that. First, no matter how you do it, please enter the same dungeon gate as him. I see, it seems like this was a pre-planned plan this time. He laughed cheerfully. Ahaha, this time, it seems this ball is confident in defeating Leon. You will die, my king. During the graduation ceremony of the Banjin Standing Army Training Course, Han Haji wondered, they just finished their training program, is it okay? So me and Mr. Zappaner have to stay at home today, Carrick. Thanks to that, I will suffer a lot, Han Haji said with a smile. Good luck, Mr. Observer. Everyone has gathered with full armor and shields, prepare for battle. Leon is the one who stands up to encourage the warrior spirit, he said. Hey my soldiers, all have performed very well in the last 4 weeks of the training program. So we'll keep it short, it's time to reap the fruits. Move forward to attack the dungeon, even if you guys are still as weak as before, I don't care, but this really isn't the same as boosting the morale of the gladiators. Those are words that weaken determination. But that is the place that will make you realize how worthy you are to be a warrior of King Leon Ha. Also there you will find the faith you aim for. Leon opened his arms, his speech was still very effective. The Banjin army set out. 49 D-rank hunters, a member of the Hunter Association along with Leon Ha, they will enter the dungeon gate. All soldiers are ready for a life and death battle. Don't worry Sir Zappaner, the king is with them, everything will be fine. Before I could feel reassured, the Zappaner alarmed again, discovered the problem. Mr. Zappaner said, 49 soldiers, the king, an observer, 51 people in total, that's right. Han Haji looked puzzled. Yes, so what? The number of people entering was 52 people. There's an intruder, one extra person, Han Haji exclaimed. Huh? Mr. Zappaner immediately checked that the intruder was not from the military. In your scanner, he shows up in yellow, alarm detection. Who is it in the end? He wore a hat that covered his head, unable to identify identity. Immediately respond urgently, then he immediately rushed towards that mysterious person. Sir. Mr. Zappaner. Hanhaji quickly followed. Wait for me. He had entered the dungeon gate. Mr. Zappaner also immediately went straight in. This speed is really very fast, like supersonic. It really resembles the Guardian's demeanor. But we can't let him in alone. Hanhaji was outside running after him. Can't wait to see who it is, sir. Mr. Zappaner. I also. But, not yet able to enter, the gate was completely closed, causing her to smash her face into it, like crashing straight into a wall. This time it was really painful. She couldn't stand it anymore and fell down. She looked like she was lying on the ground in pain. Now she regained her composure and exclaimed, "What? This is, why?" Hanhaji couldn't believe what was before his eyes. The people in suits standing there couldn't have been more surprised. What's going on? The gate is shaking, difficulty is being changed. Just for a moment, suddenly the gate changed from yellow to red. Difficulty changes, but not easier but more difficult. Everyone outside was worried endlessly for those who had entered before. Why did the golden gate suddenly turn red? In front of Hanhaji's eyes is a golden gate that has now turned red. She couldn't believe her eyes for a moment. We can only look at the gate with hope that everyone will be able to safely and successfully escape from there. The gate has disappeared. Hanhaji faced it. Truly a horror. No one knows why it changed color. Maybe it's because that person has become a stronger villain than the boss. Inside the gate is a palace, where monsters are encroaching, roaring, their cries are savage. Ugh, I will die. The soldiers defending the city could not bear this hardship. The monster was approaching in numbers like ants. At the same time, Leon's army was entering. They all panicked. Can't believe my eyes, there are indeed a lot of them. A young warrior was stunned by this image. They are demons. It's the devil's dungeon gate. This is an experiment, but is it really a devil? Leon doesn't care about this. Raise your blue eyes. Look at those barbaric demons. He was riding on a familiar horse. Raise the sword and move forward. Raise your shield and remember what you have learned about location. Everyone did not hesitate any longer and told each other to prepare for battle. Brother, put up your shield. Really funny. Now there are still people who can't believe they're about to fight a demon. I really want to die early. All soldiers simultaneously raised their shields to form a solid defensive wall. Deploy the squad, Leon style. Then there was a person without armor standing in the middle of the formation, very confused. Leon shouted, "Hetty, move forward." The guy without armor seemed to disagree. The opponents are demons, but he said to charge. Why not stand back and observe the situation first? It seems he is suspicious of Mr. Leon's direction. But all the other soldiers planted their feet firmly on the ground, immediately rushed to fight the demons. Aren't they scared at all? He wondered, what makes them so strong? Their breathing is like that of true warriors. After a month of arduous training, how much have they grown? What's up? A notice board appeared in front of me. What is this? The aura of the heart, brave, effect, adds armor against enemies, the body is stronger, increase military morale, reinforce the armor pond and make it lighter, move more nimble, added anti-magic effect to strengthen the body against rushing attacks, adds resistance to attacks from far away vision, clearer and farther. Amplifies resistance, he is buffing support effects for his troops. Finally, the demons took notice of Leon Ha's army. The whole army advanced with the direction of Sir Leon, the demons also immediately rushed to attack. There they come, where's the shield? More and more demons are gathering here. Block them, they strongly attack the shields that were erected, the warriors cannot let them break through either. They pressed hard against those shields. Many of them still grabbed pieces of iron, grab it and attack the shield repeatedly. Only this unarmored boy was frightened. Everyone was paying attention, but he was just standing here watching. Those monsters were too much for B-level hunters, yet they were able to stop them. Looks like you're the one who didn't participate in this advanced training. What happened in the last 4 weeks? Come on, the time is ripe, Leon Ha shouted loudly. Now is the time to strike back. The soldiers stomped their feet on the ground, prepare for a powerful counterattack. They are brave warriors. Leon Ha has trained truly strong people. Protect yourself and ward off enemies, don't give them a chance to fight back. Go away, the monsters took turns lying down, everyone is doing their job very well. The sword stabbed straight into the heads of the demons lying on the ground, they are sweeping, they are winning. Skewer them, everyone is gradually taking over the game, dominate attacks. Keep going, finish off the enemy. Even though they fought like that, the army was still very neat, continuously overwhelming many demons, leaving them completely helpless. That is, it seems like I saw something that shouldn't have been seen. It's a giant demon, its hand holds a wooden stick that is also very giant like his, around him were protective demons that volunteered to advance, everyone be careful. Damn it, it's a troll, it is many times larger than a human, it's completely overwhelming. Everyone thought it couldn't be stopped. Its blow was close to the strength of an A-rank hunter. A wooden stick almost as big as a human was swung down. Team 3 Captain Wu Ji-song just heard the call from his teammates, he immediately turned back. An entire shield of brave warriors used their little strength to rush forward to defend. But with Sir Leon Ha's experience of blocking 100 attacks, compared to the king, this attack is just like an ant bite. Wu Ji-song alone? He blocked it. The giant monster continued to scream loudly. Deal with mid-range enemies. Finally, the Zappaner has appeared. Transform attack. Firepower, continuous attacks of bullets. Sir Zappaner. What's the matter with you coming here? All were surprised. Why did Mr. Zappaner join the war? But he immediately stood on the back of the galloping horse and smiled. Good job, the voice came from Leon Ha's mouth. Then he immediately rushed forward. Without hesitation, he slashed the giant into pieces. Its flesh and blood splattered everywhere. In front of the holy sword radiated a brilliant light. Its blood also splashed on Mr. Leon Ha's face. His eyes looked so scary. The remaining demons saw that the defeated giant was like a headless tiger. Panic, the giant is dead, got to heaven, it must be revived. But it would be too dangerous for him to die right where the dangerous enemy was. That glowing holy sword is too scary. The demons immediately told each other, run fast. The demons are retreating. The soldiers jumped for joy. It's won, we won. Thank you very much for rescuing our kingdom. Thank you, knights. Suddenly the system displays the text, the kingdom is threatened by demons, defend the kingdom from the demon lord's attack, 1 week left. Everyone stirred and flinched. What the hell? The demon lord and those big demons? I thought this was just the Golden Gate. Your Majesty, it's a big deal. How? Leon asked again. The exit gate is gone. What does that mean? We can't go back anymore? Calm down already, don't flinch. Leon Ha comforts everyone. Yes, everyone was silent. Let Leon Ha quietly think about everything. Observed abnormal presence of third parties. Hearing what Zappaner said, Leon responded, it seems that is the reason why the situation becomes difficult to control. Does anyone have a reasonable explanation? Wu Ji-song spoke up. I have an opinion, Your Majesty, answer it. Perhaps this is a multidimensional portal, allow me to briefly explain. In these cases, the difficulty of the dungeon gate will increase dramatically, and the unusual thing here is that you cannot escape this place until you clear the entire dungeon. Too perfect to call it a coincidence, Leon Ha thought to himself. The plan has not changed, I'll act like nothing happened, is it okay? Can you handle the demon lord? Caught Wu Ji-song's words, Leon said. What are you afraid of? I am Leon Ha, you have defeated more than 30,000 giants, do you doubt my strength? How dare we? King, please teach them a lesson they will never forget. Of course, this is our world, a world filled with holy magic, Leon Ha thought proudly amid the soldiers' chants. But right now I can't guarantee victory for the entire army against the demon lord without many sacrifices. However, a true knight must always maintain his spirit in all circumstances. Only then will the soldiers have morale and confidence. Leon Ha's image appeared through the purple ball, with laughter full of deceit, hee. He has already entered that gate, he's exhausted. After all, you are just human. So what about the ritual for him to descend to earth? The voice came from the ball, it shouted, no, are you crazy? Cough, I mean I don't need to be directly involved in this case, he will have to face a hideous creature, the demons of lust have served it for 100 years. If the demon lord awakens, his end has been decided. Serpent Kingdom, this Titan Kingdom has a long history of thousands of years. But the demons ended that peaceful time, every place in the castle was burned down. Subjected to a series of attacks, the capital has collapsed, only a pile of rubble remains, and the palace is the last remaining fortress. Along with the survivors here, in the midst of this hopeless war, they still embrace hope and victory. That's a big problem, those words came from Wu Ji-song, things are gradually progressing in a more tense process. Leon Ha sat there and asked again, problem? Yes, that's right. Leon said, I understand, then he looked thoughtful, the gates, each gate has its own theme. Wu Ji-song seems quite knowledgeable about it, he said, but this time it's different, Your Majesty, one of them is time-limited. If you can't get through a normal gate, after a while, the monsters will still be there, and a dungeon rift will be created, however, it is time-limited, if the mission is completed, the gate will close, even if there are still monsters inside. I see. Although I understand, there is one question, is your name Kim Jin-soo? That was the guy who didn't wear armor in the last battle, at the same time, he is also the head of the Korean Hunter Association, he happily answered, yes, my king. Leon Ha didn't think any more and spoke, the first thing to do is to find the intruder in our ranks, which should be our top priority, but the current situation is very urgent, and because Mr. Zappaner is already here, so is the post-training assessment affected? Yes, everything is fine, Wu Ji-song looked at Kim Jin-soo's attitude and replied, a little surprise arose. Kim Jin-soo continued speaking, it's the association president who has given me the authorization, the other people behind heard this and immediately burst into excitement, oh, they're really going to give us a promotion this time. Leon Ha is also very satisfied with this, he said, alright, there's more to this. Leon Ha of course, every time, he spoke softly, it's about the hidden mission, what do you think? Just heard its name. Wu Ji-song was startled and frightened. Kim Jin-soo next to him also broke out in cold sweat. He still tried to ask again, Your Majesty, you mean? Li Anha also answered quietly, I am planning to kill the demon lord. The meeting seems to have ended here. Li Anha is alone in the room, he thought. Just as expected, I have used up quite a bit of energy. He draped one leg over the chair, hand holding the Holy Grail, wondering, but to that extent, surely we can still contact the temple, right? After thinking about it, he placed the holy cup on the table. Hands clasped in front of chest, a yellow aura emitted. Right at that moment, a voice also slowly appeared. Leon, my knight. Mr. Leon respectfully greeted. Goddess Asiana, have I bothered you? The goddess has long been paying attention. Questioner, you also pay attention to it. Leonha also knew what it was, he said. Yes, I realized a bit late, but I feel like there's a strange energy in this gate. Goddess, explainer, a body full of life like yours, it cannot be seen that easily. That's obvious, finally, that energy source has merged with this world. Leonha thought to himself, a being so strong that I can feel it even in this state. He confirmed that it must have been a demon lord or something similar. Maybe it's a demon king. The goddess also felt the same way, but don't forget to remind Mr. Leonha, it's very mischievous. No matter how great that power is, its true power is even more terrible. My knight, the power of the temple has sent you a message. Leonha happily bowed his head and accepted. God is listening. On the other side is the face of Goddess Asiana. Every time I see her, I am truly moved by her heavenly beauty. The person looked up next to him and spoke. The gods want to study this world. They must have sensed something. So they will need energy to descend to the mortal world. Leonha was also quite surprised because in the near future there will be a few gods coming to this world when they have enough energy. That's right, stop, I guess I don't need to tell you what to do anymore, right? Leonha immediately outlined plans for the future. He said confidently, of course. I will find a safe way to help them. Next was a carriage moving towards the castle. The sound of the castle door being opened, at the same time, it is the voice of the carriage owner. We've arrived. Leonha led 3 of his entourage, his elite soldiers, over. At the same time, an old butler quickly came out to greet Mr. Leon. Welcome knights, my name is Paco, the head butler of this place. With a unique dressing style and cold demeanor, he is truly a butler with many years of experience, he said. I will take you to the courtroom, please follow me. Everyone started moving to the hall. The scenery here seems to be very impressive. Wu Ji-song walked behind but couldn't help but look around. This place is so deserted but Leonha also paid attention to the details of the scenery here. He commented that the owner of this place has very good aesthetic sense. The old butler also happily accepted this compliment. Haha, you are very clever. He began to tell the story of the owners through many generations. The Serpent Kingdom Royal Palace has a long history. Since the time of its founder, Queen Fiosa. To the current Queen Bichik, she is a good person with a generous soul. Her silver hair shines with nobility but is also very strong and generous. I have served many generations of queens. So here are all queens. Yes, people here probably follow a matrilineal system. Those were the words of the 3 retainers in Sir Leonha's army. Leonha's face turned around looking extremely uncomfortable. Suddenly judging nobles from other places is truly disrespectful. The other 3 entourage were also afraid and informed each other. The king is glaring at you. His eyes looked terrible. Where did you commoners learn to comment on the royal family like that? But the 3 of them all trembled and said in unison, we are sorry. Leonha said to the old butler, I apologize for that. They are so stupid, aren't they? Because those people haven't learned basic etiquette. The situation is quite tense right now, so I was in a bit of a hurry to bring these guys along. You sympathize? The other 3 entourage could only laugh. I hope your mood can improve. But ho, he also doesn't pay attention to such small things. It's okay, as an outsider, I can know and understand. And here we are, this is the hall. Leonha quietly walked in. The entourage behind had their eyes wide open. Please, the tall iron door guarded by 2 soldiers began to open. The queen is waiting for you. Leonha's face has changed at this moment. It's like the eyes are preparing for a long battle. He looks very serious. King Leonha, please come in. In front of him were 2 long rows of armored guards. In front are 2 large people, behind is Queen Bichik. Along with that was a long line of people who looked very much like foreign men. Westerners have a unique culture, bearded person, people with long hair, people are shaved. Next to that was a man with black hair who looked like a regional count, an old person, silver hair with a scar above his left eye, like a warrior who has been on the battlefield for many years. The black-haired guy walked down the stairs. Before the magnificence of the palace, he said, he is Leonha, the one who led the army into battle in front of the gate? I am the Prime Minister of the Kingdom, Duke Chung XXX, recognition of great contributions. We decided to give him the title of knight. So, with the Queen's permission, please read it. In his hand, there seemed to be a paper thanking the Queen for giving Sir Leonha the title. But it seemed he felt uneasy inside. He took a step past the Duke. He seemed very angry. Sir Leon said, leave it later? I send my greetings to the Queen first. He was bewildered by his actions. What? But I can take a few more steps. The old knight with a scar on his cheek stood up to stop him. "Stop it, Mr. Lian Ha." The two of them facing each other looked quite tense. The Duke also came forward to speak. "I don't care what achievements you make, but how could a stranger like you be able to approach the Queen like that?" Three soldiers saw that. It seemed like they knew the future. The three of them are calming their nerves. Is this situation okay? Suddenly, I feel worried. The Prime Minister continued to talk nonsense in your face. "The current situation is quite unstable for someone as arrogant as Mr. Lian Ha." The entourage already realized the outcome of the incident, even though the Prime Minister stopped him. "But you will leave it alone, right?" "Ha, already finished." The Queen's side even let out another laugh as if she was disdainful. After laughing, silence was like punching Mr. Leon in the ear. "Can't stand it." He gritted his teeth and bit his gums. Although it wasn't wrong for them to protect their queen, Lian Ha was really upset. He said, "Queen, I myself am also an emperor, the king of the Lian Ha kingdom. I know it would be rude, but I will do what I need to do." Hearing those words was so wild, the Prime Minister couldn't help but speak. Who do you think you are?" He pointed his finger straight at Lian Ha and shouted, "You insolent person, where are you? Shut up these guys." Haven't finished speaking yet, Lian Ha used his loving hands to firmly grasp the Prime Minister's face. Lian Ha is truly terrible right now, like a god of death that can take another person's life at any time. Seeing this, several of his entourage shouted in unison, "Your Majesty, you are here." Haven't had time to react yet, the Prime Minister's head was rotated 360 degrees by Lian Ha. The entourage could only stand still. "King." Mr. Lian Ha's face looked really uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable. He also wondered, why am I so angry this time? After quickly using the hands of the Prime Minister of that country. Sir Lian Ha looks terrible. He is like a terror to many people. "Mr. Duke, bastard, what are you doing?" All the soldiers immediately surrounded Lian Ha like surrounding a criminal. "Indeed, in this country, you are a criminal." Does Mr. Lian Ha look like he's paying attention?" He looked at them contemptuously like a group of crawling ants. The insolent Prime Minister dares to touch Mr. Leon's pride, an arrogant king, and now he's just a corpse. The entourage could only call out to the king in vain. Several soldiers, all covered in armor, prepared to attack. "Arrest criminals, brave, you want to die, right?" Lian Ha seemed to realize something. "Stupid, how long are you going to hide your identity? Do you think you can surpass this king? Show your appearance to me immediately, rotten devils." The Prime Minister's face looked distorted. But soon, from someone completely dead on the floor, his eyes changed to red. With a sinister smile he woke up. "Hick, what the hell?" Behind him, a pair of wings slowly grew. His eyes became black because the cicadas had escaped. The Prime Minister's body rolled to the ground. The Prime Minister is a demon. The soldier's eyes have now opened wide. This demon looks like a mantis. Its hands are 2 long, sharp swords, enough to kill anyone it passes through. Suddenly, next to the western-looking man, someone also sprouted wings. They were more surprised than scared. "Everything is here." Demons continuously appear, escape from the mortal body. It seems the true form is that of a devil. Now I suddenly realized that the whole palace had been living with demons before. Lian Ha has outstanding leadership talent. He knows what to do in this situation. He shouted loudly, "Don't be afraid, let's face them. Let's unite, join forces and fight." Just said, he just cut the demon in half in front of him. Only then can we win. But the demon behind Lian Ha immediately prepared to attack him. But don't underestimate Mr. Lian Ha's ability. Those 2 legendary fingers again blocked the path of the blade that had taken the lives of so many people. "Kill," the monster muttered. 2 people stood facing each other, looking at each other. Some are helpless, some are sleepy. He gently pulled out the sword attached to its hand, but somehow his whole arm broke off. He held his arm like a sword and slashed straight at the demon's neck. Head fell off. The game is over. Looks like that. The general with the scar on his face saw Mr. Lian Ha's abilities. He was stunned, but I can't help but blame myself. Hiding right in the middle of the palace, where the queen rests, hideous monsters. However, there are still people who don't know how to fight or cannot defeat monsters, desperately dodging attacks and calling for help. Looks like that. The general cannot see death without saving him. He sped past Lian Ha. Immediately killed 2 demons that were threatening the lives of many people there. Soon he put away his sword and spoke, "All the demons have entered here." He shouted, "Destroy them, kill thoroughly." The soldiers also responded, "Let's fight a good battle together." After that, just a short time, under everyone's feet, only the dry corpses of these demons remained. Sir Lian Ha also retrieved his sword from the void, put it in another space. The sweep has ended. Sir Lian Ha looked towards the queen above. It seemed like she wasn't afraid at all, unmoved. It seems like she must be very strong, or not. Sir Lian Ha approached, but not even half a step. "The general's sword is in front of you, stop there." But Mr. Lian Ha's mood remained unchanged. "I understand your position and loyalty. What I don't understand here is why you don't focus on protecting your superiors in this emergency situation." The general also did not yield. "Who are you to judge my loyalty and actions? Only the queen can do that." "That makes sense. These entourage have joined the stranger's side. Lian Ha raised his finger and said, but. He only needed to snap his fingers once, and the sword in the general's hand flew up and stabbed straight into the ceiling of the hall. He adjusted his tie and spoke, although judging you as your queen's business, I am also an emperor, I know my identity. The general's arm holding the sword was shaking, but he still stood there confronting Sir Leon. The queen is confused and cannot accurately assess the current situation. And since your position as prime minister is dead, I am the next person responsible in her majesty's absence. The two glanced at each other, no one agreed, but Mr. Leonha doesn't seem to argue with him about this issue anymore, he said. This capital city is filled with corrupt energy. You must quickly resolve this matter. More than half of the people in this capital city have turned into ghosts, and if they're too slow, they'll leave the capital. Are you sure? Sir Leonha firmly declared that the Night King did not tell lies. The old general asked, so what do you want? Leonha also did not hesitate to say he wanted the right to command his soldiers. As soon as he finished speaking, the old general closed his eyes and clenched his fists as if he wanted to teach this arrogant bastard a lesson. Leonha continued and had the right to eliminate corrupt people. At this moment, he looked at the motionless queen up there and arrogantly said, "Oh, incompetent queen, this king will correct all your mistakes." In the central square of the serpent capital, thousands of survivors gathered. Leonha presented, "Everyone, I have received full authorization from the Serpent Kingdom. I am King Leon of the Kingdom of Leonha, Leon Dragonier Leonha. Some of you have been possessed and corrupted by demons, and their purpose may be to cause internal chaos combined with external attacks." Everyone was amazed. However, there is nothing to worry about. We have a way to distinguish who is corrupted. Either way, everyone gasped. Faced with the people's unstable trust, Leonha had to model once. "Okay, I'll show you guys once to see if what I said is true or not." Some people were frightened by his assertion. They are very worried because they don't know what will happen next. "Here, they have a corrupted person." Leonha pointed to a corner. Everyone panicked, some opened their mouths, some held their heads. Leonha added, "And a normal person. There is a normal person and a demon." But who is a normal person? A burning fire as big as the whole house appeared. This may be Sir Leonha's magic. He shouted loudly to everyone, "Prove your innocence by throwing yourself into the fire." "No, because this is for verification, I will help you." Immediately, the fire rushed forward and swallowed both of them, a man and a woman. The people around couldn't help but exclaim, "Man, he wants to kill us all." Ah, the screams of suffering came out. The man was burned to death by fire. He helplessly shouted to put out the fire. Oh my god, everyone was just stunned by that fiery hell. Someone saw something. The girl who walked into the fire came out unharmed. She's okay. She walked out bewildered, not understanding what happened. The fire did not take her life, because she is human. So what was that scream just now? The old man nearby cried out, "Hey look, that soldier's body." Finally my eyes are open. Leonha said, "Look. This is the holy fire, it only burns evil creatures." He looked at the fire with disdain for the demon. "Thank the god of fire Pitos for this. Now shout your name and walk through the fire." Many people were stunned and did not dare to move. Even now, these foolish people are still afraid. They talk to each other. What should I do now? Really, only demons get burned, right? Leonha was really angry. "Let me see the sample once and then I still have questions." Leonha pulled out his sword. "Hurry up or you will all be corrupted. I will behead all of you." "Damn it, I'm leaving, motherfucker." Having finished speaking, everyone put their heads down and ran headlong into the fire. Just a moment later, only the demons who didn't dare to step into the fire stood there. Leonha covered his nose with his hand. "Damn stink, if you make me witness this scene, you will pay the price. I will tear your souls to pieces." Those little devils don't know their opponent's abilities yet, but they know he has fire that can kill them, so they still feel scared. Stand still and say, "That human being, what do you know? Don't think you'll be safe." Before he could finish speaking, Leonha got angry and shouted again, "The demons are all dead." Just one scream. Those demons fear you like they fear a ghost. They also screamed in fear and despair. Garbage and golden aura had already enveloped Mr. Leonha's body. His teeth clenched tightly, his eyes could only see the whites. He condemned them, parasitic on human emotions. Barbarians are afraid. How dare you imitate humans walking on two legs, living in communities, and even pretending to be soldiers? Do you think I would allow that to happen? You will all die in pain. I will make you cry in despair and agony. After the demons heard it, they felt like the person speaking was the villain. They wonder, this crazy guy, if he has two legs, he walks on two legs, right? It's all nonsense. At a mountain not far from it, the believer announced to the purple jade planet. The plan to spread the seeds of corruption seems to have gone bankrupt. On the screen he was watching was Leonha. He is punishing corrupt people. He tensed up. Scream more, many more, boo more. The only way to satisfy this king. The jade ball saw that and broke out in cold sweat. This purple jade ball couldn't help but curse, "That bastard, he's still a brutal beast." After finishing dealing with the corruptors, he captured a demon and hung it on a pole in front of the people. "Dear subjects of the Serpent Kingdom, do not be afraid. He stated bluntly and firmly, as long as this king and the Shadow Master's heart still exist, evil will not be able to harm you. To be more precise, our creatures grow thanks to impure human emotions. Suddenly the hanging demon laughed. It screamed, the eyes emit a red light, this isn't over yet, your end has been determined, the corrupting power will destroy everything. At the climax, he used his hand to smash its head, unable to bear it, he lost consciousness, shut up, you devil, he is truly the one who destroys the dreams of those who are not of the same kind. He said, look at this ugly, monstrous letter. The power of corruption is the cause of your temptations and fears. Even hunger and thirst, constant illness too, they are also the reason why your family is broken, he continued speaking as everyone's faces stiffened at the same time. Made you all fall on your face this morning, make your spouse cheat on you, losing money gambling. The other demon's head was twisted in one place, but he still woke up and was extremely frightened when he heard those fabricated words. What the hell? The demon had not yet regained his composure, because of that person's name. I don't understand why he has such a grudge against him that he speaks so harshly, haven't had time to wonder yet. He picked up his horn and broke it, you have to come online. But I don't understand why those unbelievable words were effective, some people begin to believe in sincere words, but a bit too much, what? Because of that demon, my mother got sick, the demon was in so much pain that he screamed, people are upset because of these damn demons, I told you to shut up, this damn demon. Everyone deduced in the direction that Leonha wanted, my father's enemy, this demon really looks very pitiful, I can't hold my tongue because the people's intellectual level is shockingly low, these crazy people, as they spoke, Leonha snapped another horn and broke it. Leonha continued on the main topic, the curse of corruption will not forgive anyone, these demons need to be punished, at this time, because of 2 broken horns, it was so sick that it wanted to die. He continued, all the problems we encounter in life are related to these demons, we cannot let them do mischief, look at the devil, he looks like a good guy masquerading as a bad guy, but Leonha looks like a bad person who clings to a good image. But now you don't need to think anymore, because I'm here to bring justice to everyone, Sir Leonha held out the wooden stick for everyone to see, it emits a bright, clear, yellow light. It is like the light of justice and righteousness, he said, hey red-haired boy, are you a god? That's right, come up here. And a wooden stick that couldn't have looked any worse was placed in that boy's hand. I didn't know what else to say, I could only sadly listen to him. He said, let's use this holy fire to teach the demon a lesson, like he's changing the entire nation's ideology. Hearing Leonha's words, the red-haired boy's eyes flashed, looking like he was just waiting for this sentence. He coldly said, don't be afraid or anything, but he was still a little worried, but because the ideology was changed, the hatred towards the demon was heightened. Yes, King, I will give them a lesson they will never forget. Bastard, he gradually walked forward, in his hand was a wooden stick carrying the light of a fire, standing in front of that helpless demon. He confidently said, do you dare do anything to me, kid? I will definitely take you to hell. Leonha took action, who gave you permission to speak like that? A fist of love rushed into the demon's face. This bastard, the red-haired boy's trembling hands gradually stepped forward. Please pay for my family's life. Having finished speaking, he took the stick and hit it directly on the head, looking like he was torturing it. The demon screamed for a while because it was so painful, you will go to hell. You devil, you have no right to speak here. Leonha's face was extremely fierce at this moment. Then came the pitiful screams of the poor devil, and no more after that for the devil. Besides, the corrupted demon Banthas is locked in the dungeon. It reflects on life, because everyone is most honest when they sit alone and think about themselves, he thought, in my 34 years as a demon, I have tortured and trampled countless people, I never thought it would end like this. A robot's legs run back and forth outside, looking so cute. Kirik, the green-skinned demon, saw that and was startled. It looked at the robot with a curious expression. Whatever he wants, he acts like this robot can't talk, why does he think there is a robot here? But the robot also said, please give me information. The green-skinned demon laughed loudly, do you think I will do as you say? You think I've surrendered? It looks so funny. Suddenly an announcement rang out, prisoner number 14 did not cooperate, the soundless cry of that green-skinned demon is about to reappear. So sorry for your life, this is the day Zappaner specializes in torture, no, training the subject's endurance. A flood of soldiers rushed inside, he was so muscular that he stood in neat rows. Standing in front of those iron bars, the demon's face turned pale, it seems like he made a mistake earlier. Like it's still confident, if you want me to confess, then kill me, I will surely revive and take revenge on you. It suddenly became speechless when it saw something, sweat was pouring out like rain. What is Kia? A soldier brought a bucket of water, but it's not water, there was a yellow aura coming out like the wooden stick the red-haired boy was using outside. Normal water and 15% holy water, it's a delicacy for humans and a nightmare for demons. The box was put down, the sound of the device clicking made the demon tremble. Mr. Zappaner sat on the edge of the basin, he is an expert in torture, torturing humans in Leonha's army, now this demon has no way to save him if he chooses wrong, look, is that a reasonable choice? Holy water, you know the answer, this threat is sweet but also very scary. Star? He was still surprised, bewildered, surprised, did not understand and pretended not to understand. Suddenly there was a rope wrapped around its neck. Pull down and click on the water basin. That's truly evil. Use cruel methods to punish evil people. This is true, but it's barbaric. Those large, fully armored soldiers looked terrifying. It looked like it was about to devour this green-skinned demon. Ah, the retractable rope. The demon turned its face up. It screamed because it was burned. Holy water is not enough to finish it off, but it is not enough to torture it. His words were all messed up. That blow was actually quite painful. It just screamed, "You, damned man, I am the corrupted demon Bantus. You dare do that to me?" "Don't even wait for him to finish speaking," Mr. Zappaner said. "No cooperation, then multiply its head down again, it looks great." Mr. Zappaner's eyes look so strong. Even though he doesn't know how to express his emotions, he looks really cool. "Wait, haven't finished talking yet." He again affirmed that he would not cooperate, then put one more shot. It screams, "Mom, please save me." No cooperation. Press down again. The soldiers looked so scared that no one dared to say anything. "Okay, what do you want me to say?" "I don't know anything." No cooperation. Continue pressing your head down several more times. And so that night will be a long night full of nightmares for a blue-skinned devil who has never experienced life. Prisoner number 14, 30,064 characters reporting information. 9,103 characters less than average. Prisoner 13 is 39,677 characters. This demon heard this and wondered, "What are you saying?" Mr. Zappaner continued talking. "There is a possibility of concealing information." "Mom is crazy," it screamed in vain. "I don't know how many characters the other guys say. I don't know how long this hell on earth will last." Mr. Zappaner doesn't care, he continued, because of the prisoner's need to preserve his life. He did not disclose enough information, prepare serious questions. As soon as he heard it, the soul of this blue-skinned demon seemed to be liberated. "Fly up to space. This is probably the happiest moment of my life when the chain of non-cooperation has ended." "What do you want to ask?" The green-skinned demon did not dare to cough anymore. Go straight to the main topic. And that night was not as long as imagined. All information is disclosed. Mr. Zappaner has completed this task well, he informed Mr. Leon. Done. Full information includes 32 parts, match about 89%. Found a reasonable point. Sir Leon smiled with satisfaction. Good job, Mr. Zappaner. In hand is a glass of wine. He is enjoying the taste of victory. He asked, "Mr. Zappaner, you're done getting information from the demons, right? How are you handling it?" He also replied, "Having eliminated them, only a small amount remains. The work was a great success." Good. The wine glass was raised. As each day passes, Mr. Leon's mood becomes brighter and brighter, making his handsome face gradually perfect. The symphony of justice has been implemented on this planet. Those are the screams of the demons that have caused humans so many cries of pain and suffering, and now, people are demanding justice for themselves. Suddenly, Mr. Leon's eyes darkened. "It looks like you're angry about something." But no, he was awakened. It seemed like some kind of feeling was encroaching on his body. "It's because of the glass of wine." Mr. Leon's hands couldn't hold it anymore. The wine glass fell. "Everything is gradually winning. Why did this happen?" Mr. Zappaner announced, "Sire, heart rate increases abnormally fast, chest pain and difficulty breathing. Looks like it's not poisoning. It's like you smelled the smell you hated for a long time." He looks terrible. Sir Leon stood up and said, "Mr. Zappaner, that cruel species lives and breathes the same air as us. I can't stand it. So what should we do?" Mr. Zappaner replied, "Eliminate the cause as soon as possible." Mr. Leon's smile looked so deceitful and dangerous, he adjusted his tie and uttered a sentence. "What a great idea, elimination eliminates the cause." Because he was a demigod, King Leon did not feel tired. The same goes for the Holy Grail Knight robot. Both people immediately jumped out of the high-rise window. Sir Leon landed, shaking the whole area. It seems like the two of them have discovered where the enemy is. Mr. Leon's legs soon became muscular, prepare to start at high speed. "We'll go visit the town one night. The cruel night has begun. Humanity, tens of thousands of high-class demons, the low levels are all gathered here, so it was a human who did it all?" The believer holding the purple planet sighed, "Yes, he did it." The other believer said, "Dear Almighty, are you okay?" But the other ball spoke again, "Don't look too much at those whores, you will also be damaged as well." "Yes, I love you." When those ghosts heard that, they all got angry. "It's not wrong, but it's too deep." "Stop there." A sinful foot stepped forward in front of the amethyst believer. "It is a monster with 8 arms, he said smiling. "You bastard, how dare you invade my territory?" Then growled again, "Are you tired of living? What is this dark energy?" The follower was very panicked, but the gem remained calm. It said, "You haven't seen the crown on his head yet." The gem said, "It is the demon lord of pleasure and destruction of androgen." Hear the voice coming from the jade ball. He was surprised. "Is there another name? We have a goblin here." It said, "Demon Lord Androgen, I have an attractive offer that you cannot ignore." Suggestion: it seems that this demon lord is not someone who only likes to fight, he also knows how to listen to others. But then there was that crazy smile. Know your own position, mice. A stranger suddenly has an attractive offer? That's just a suggestion that benefits you. He said, do you think a nameless person like you can compete with other lords and demon generals? Do you think you can compete with me? Looks like the offer didn't work. This purple ball must convince him otherwise. It was silent for a while, then spoke. You are too arrogant to get it. The demon lord still doesn't understand what this purple ball says. The ball said, you weren't the only one who died during the Great Enlightenment 180 years ago. The king of pleasure has also fallen. Suddenly being reminded of past failures, he couldn't help but speak. Damn it. The jade ball continued, I know all the terrible things that happened during that time. 180 years ago, to rule the world solely between demon lords, 5 dark forces have joined forces. But the results were extremely disastrous. There are only 3 king-level demons, and whatever happens, happens. Give up your possessions and run for someone else, fast. Thousands, tens of thousands of other demons were running around trying to save their lives. But before she could run, a pair of seductive legs blocked her in front of her. It was an image of a human with yellow hair, ragged clothes, a yellow light emitted from his body, is the light of justice. All the green-skinned demons gasped, eyes were watering. I really want to surrender, but I probably can't. That's Mr. Leon Ha. He clenched his teeth. With his arrogant attitude, he always puts down horrible creatures. More than 10 million other little devils. Has been destroyed. The orb counts me as a survivor of that period. You know everything? The demon lord's mood became cheerful when he encountered colleagues from the same era. What do you think? I said I'd make you an offer you couldn't refuse. Say it, Ta. Androgen will hurl him into a bottomless pit of depravity. The demon lord was completely on the side of the jade ball. I heard you're on a mission for the supreme demon general? The ball wondered. He smiled sinisterly. Times are about to change. The old man is just a brat after all. It's about to die. It was a girl with silver hair who looked beautiful. This person is quite similar to the other Queen Bijik. Believers still cannot believe their eyes, so that's it? The purple ball also felt only partially satisfied with such a result. It's great to be able to do that much in that shabby place. The ratio is 7 against 3, the demon lord only has 3 parts. The believer still speaks. If that's the case, including me, an S-class mage, and another creature with the ultimate magic, then victory is natural. You also go fight with him. The purple orb said it like a joke. This damn guy, this bastard. Then the believer asked in confusion, so where are we going? The ball continued, first of all, the warlocks in the forest nearby. It also knows how to fight. The believer continued to ask, for example. Over there, as he finished speaking, 2 people appeared in front of him. No, exactly 1 person. A ball that is truly a zombie. That's right, it's a warrior ghost. But it seems he is seriously injured. The ball ordered the follower to use stealth magic quickly. But before he could react, an attack from the air hit the zombie directly, causing the witch to be knocked into the air. Even weapons fly. The believer and the entire ball gasped in fear. Startled, the believer opened his mouth so wide that he could fit the entire ball in. The magician's legs were tied and he was dragged along the ground. With a cry that echoed across the sky. Just got dragged away. That guy just scratched the ground as if to cling to some hope, but of course there was no result. The believer and the purple ball could only hug each other in fear. The sound that followed scared them even more. It was like a sound from hell. Has Mr. Zappaner caught it yet? It is estimated that there are still a few individuals in the area. The image of Leon Ha wearing tattered clothes after a fierce battle and the Zappaner walking beside him appeared in the eyes of the follower and the purple orb. The creature that had just caught it saw something, Leon Ha said, after cleaning so thoroughly. There are still a few left. At that moment, the soft voice of the ball rang out. Did you do as I told you? Have you activated the stealth skill yet? The believer replied, of course, but the orb was still very scared. I don't believe it, he's looking at us. But I didn't hear anything when we got here. The law of silence of the Grail Knight, all the demons in this forest have been destroyed. But there is still something very different from normal. That's strange. I feel something unpleasant, hearing Leon Ha say that made the man and the purple ball startled again. Leon Ha's face was almost close to the believer's face and he said, it's around here, probably so. Carrick, suddenly the Zappaner cried out, what's the matter, Mr. Zappaner? General observation of targets via satellite, targets in Area 47, there are still things for us to hunt. Let's go. The believer and the purple ball narrowly escaped death. Even though he left, Leon Ha still kept an eye on that area, making the believer hold his breath. After Leon Ha left, he collapsed to the ground. He said nervously, almost losing his head. Return to your room in the castle. Prepare water to wipe over the dusty body. Leon Ha thought. Demons of pleasure and decadence, perverted demons who seek not true sex but horribly twisted lust. How strange. Why are there so many lust demons in this kingdom? There were even high-level ones. There was a high possibility that there was a supreme demon nearby. But why is that? It's the smell of blood. Suddenly, a sound came from behind Leon Ha, making him startled. Leon Ha thought to himself with worry, I didn't feel her presence at all. His face also became serious. The sound coming from behind him came from a woman with long white hair. Her face was still hidden in the darkness. The girl smiled and said, you must be very tired. Then she continued, because she never went to sleep. Now her face appeared. It was a stunningly beautiful face, with white hair and purple eyes. Purple makes her eyes look deep. What a beauty that makes people shocked. Good evening, respected gentlemen. After hearing that greeting, King Leon Ha also turned around to face the newly appeared beauty. The beautiful girl continued, or maybe I should say Mr. Leon Ha, does she know Leon? Listen to the words from her mouth and admire that wonderful face. Leon Ha still maintained his calm and somewhat uncomfortable expression. He slowly closed his eyes, blocked that figure tightly out of your sight, then silently comment in your head, such a stunning beauty. Her beauty is so gorgeous that even Leon Ha has to recognize her. Leon Ha continued to silently complain in his head, cause of conflict, brings pain, a harbinger of the power to transform. Meanwhile, he also picked up the shirt next to him and put it on his naked upper body. Yes, standing in front of her, you can't even realize that you are falling into the abyss. And sunk deep into the ocean of despair, not knowing the inner thoughts of King Leon Ha, the beautiful, seductive white-haired girl smiled and talked, please introduce yourself as Bichik, queen of this small kingdom. I am Leon Ha Dragonier. Following the minimum courtesy, Leon Ha also responded by introducing himself, but suddenly Queen Bichik's hand was placed on Leon Ha's hand. This made Leon Ha's eyes flash with caution. He suddenly said to himself, this woman, I can't believe she noticed. Seeing Leon Ha's serious face, Queen Bichik laughed out loud, don't be so cautious. She then expressed, I just wanted to come and greet the benefactor of this kingdom. Even though hearing that and her smiling attitude didn't make Leon Ha let down his guard, it's true that tough young people are different. Still keeping an annoyed face, Leon Ha told Queen Bichik, this is not an ideal time for a lady to visit me. Leon Ha's attitude was so tough that Queen Bichik also regained the carefree smile on her face began to show seriousness. Then she hesitantly expressed that, in fact, we were being watched. Hearing that, Leon Ha's calm expression also changed. He was even a little indignant. Who dares to be so disrespectful to the queen? Who dares to follow the queen? Queen Bichik smiled sadly, then say. The general and the knights under him, they locked their hands under the guise of something called surveillance. General, that guy doesn't seem like the type of person who would violate the loyalty of the army. Leon Ha pursed his lips. It seemed he was very angry that a person in a position that could be considered his equal was being treated so disrespectfully. Queen Bichik quickly approached, grabbed Leon Ha's hand and said enthusiastically, I'm running out of time so I had to ask the king for something. Leon Ha didn't shake her hand away, but seemed to gently say, I'm listening. Queen Bichik said her purpose in coming to him was to kill the general and all his knights. Then he looked like he always said, if you do that, I will give this whole kingdom to you. Giving away the entire kingdom, the queen's face remained calm as usual, as if it were an unimportant object. After Bichik finished speaking, the atmosphere fell into silence. The air fell as if the sound of Kim falling could be heard. Seeing that Leon Ha had not reacted yet, Bichik took it as if he agreed, stood up on tiptoe and whispered in his ear to investigate the basement of the royal palace. There, the general was hiding something. Her whole body was completely nestled in Leon Ha's arms. Meanwhile, the great general was also entering. With the soldiers standing behind him, he shouted loudly, King Leon Ha. Sorry for bothering you at midnight. We're opening the door, even though we're asking for forgiveness. It's not polite at all. Say it and do it, no beating around the bush. The general immediately opened the door and entered the room. But in front of him, there was only the figure of Leon Ha standing tall in the middle of the room. Followed by Leon Ha's reprimands, suddenly barging into the royal bedroom in full military gear. What kind of disrespect is that? Serpent's general did not give in. I know this is not allowed, but the situation is very urgent and we cannot do anything else. Leon Ha let out a sound filled with dissatisfaction. Then he continued, I just met the queen. Hearing that, the general's face remained calm as if nothing. Is that so? Leon Ha continued, truth and falsehood are mixed. He went out for a walk. I accidentally met him, and I also have a few questions about you. What kind of person you really are? Then he expressed his dissatisfaction and continued, in a situation where demons are still wandering everywhere, you dare to disrupt the royal family's rest time. The demons don't come at night. Listening to the general's advice, Leon Ha reaffirmed, lying. Since when do they come to cause trouble at night like this? I'm not stupid enough to be fooled that easily. There's no way an idiot like him could reach the position of general, thought to himself, and Leon Ha continued, as if he was being persuaded by someone. Hearing that, the general did not say anything. The space continued to fall into silence. Then he turned his back, hoping that he would forgive his rude action. We should probably leave. But suddenly Leon Ha said, Queen. Saying that you consider her a prisoner. Hearing that made the general pause. He turned around with an indignant expression, that is none of the business of strangers like you. then angrily banged on the door really hard. After the general left, Lianha silently said, "Really suspicious, very suspicious." The general was clearly trying to cover up something. To find out more details, I should investigate the basement like she said. Then Lianha called, "Sir Zappaner." Immediately Zappaner appeared from behind. "There's something we want to verify." Outside the castle, the monsters continued to attack. They shouted loudly with disgust and cruelty on their faces, crush them, cut off their heads and play with their bodies. "It's all corrupted, it's extremely noisy." "Listen," the demon lord said, "the first person to cross the wall will be rewarded with 100 slaves." Hearing that, the monsters seemed to be injected with stimulants. They continued to scream loudly, corrupting all of them, corrupting, corrupting. While shouting, a sword shot forward. Just one attack can destroy a whole group of monsters. What is that? The rest just suddenly whined, huh? The attack created a line in the ground that looked red like lava. But that's not the most surprising thing. The strangest thing is that the souls come out of the monster's body. Souls? Then there were chants coming from the castle. The Holy Grail emitted light and sucked in the demon spirits, creating tornadoes, despite the screams. Holding the Holy Grail in his hand, Lianha coldly said, "Dying with honor is better than living with shame. Don't you know you're just like animals? Just pursuing basic desires like insects. How can you understand what I say?" Leon then took the chalice away, kicked his foot on the wall and said threatening words. "Listen carefully, you filthy insects. King Lianha, I Lianha, in the name of the Temple of Light. To you vile and vile villains." At the same time my sword was also taken out. "I will teach you the value of a good life. Come here, you rotten demons. Your greatest fear is right here." After he finished speaking, behind Lianha appeared the Lord of the Forest. General Zakato appeared inside the castle. A soldier asked, "I thought you were fighting, what brought you here?" The general replied, "A fugitive is already handling that matter. The problem is the seal, will it work fine?" In response to that question, his answer is, "Yes, but I haven't found it yet." But they didn't know that above their heads the Zappaner was watching. "There's not much time left, just be patient a little longer. 100 years of hard work are about to come to an end." General Zakato grabbed the curtain and opened it completely. The scene inside surprised the Grail Knight Zappaner. At this time, smoke was already rising high in the sky, hovering under the clouds. Their corpses continued to lie down there. The ropes were tied tightly to their hands. One after another, the tied demons moved one after another in a defeated manner. Their eyes seem unable to absorb this humiliation. There's a noise behind. A small demon cannot keep up with the demon group's progress, immediately fell to the ground with a thud. When Wu Jisong saw it, he could only sigh. He approached and asked, "Hey, be careful, right?" But just looked down. I don't know what the hell he saw, but his face was as red as a watermelon. He looked embarrassed. "What? Why?" The little devil who fell to the ground has now become a girl with blue hair, cuter than an angel. From her succulent lips came a voice sweeter than sugar. "Hunter, please forgive me. But the beauty just now turned ugly," she said, "and then I will spoil you to the fullest." Looking like some cheap whore, she then laughed in a way that made people shiver. But the fragile and broken heart of this virgin boy who has never had a love relationship is unbearable. His face was red. It seemed like he was completely captivated by this beautiful beauty that was hard for anyone to match. Wu Jisong was just about to raise his hand, free the girl, and cherish that cunning smile. Lianha activates poison resistance for the entire army. The poison resistance skill had just been activated. Wu Jisong understood the truth. In front of him, there was no beautiful girl that thousands of people loved. There is only the one-eyed devil with seductive skin that only dares to look at once and haunts him for the rest of his life. Wu Jisong just saw that demon's disgusting face. Following human instinct, he immediately cursed, "Damn, it's true that when I see a girl, I'm fascinated and I feel like a ghost." He gave her another slap, causing her teeth and lips to mix. The one-eyed demon has the ability to charm people into eating a slap, but I still don't understand how the heck he detoxifies himself. How could a human like you resist my charm? In a demon, the figure is terrible, male but looks female. Also calling me my charm makes me want to vomit. Only now did Wu Jisong realize, was this the charm of this demon? It's so ugly that it's about to fall. It's truly an insult to the blind. Whoever it was, a powerful voice came from far away, attracting the eyes of both Wu Jisong and the demon lying there. The familiar white horse stopped before them. That's Mr. Lianha. He was leading the tied demons with his horse, but still spurred the horse back. "Who is it, imprisoning the ranks? Your tone seemed like you wanted to eat it alive." "He is a very disciplined person." Sir Leon looked down as if looking at an insect. Well, Wu Jisong and the demon were both silent. Could it be that Mr. Wu Jisong declared that he was so unspeakably fascinated by this evil thing? He immediately boldly pointed his finger straight at this demon and said loudly, "It's this thing." How dare you? Sir Leonha glanced at it with a truly scary face. You were angry, luring my soldiers with that filthy body. At this moment, it was as scary as the end of the world. Unable to do anything more, he just sat there, flattering, apologizing to the king. But just hearing that voice made Mr. Leonha angry. He was so angry that he kicked it right in the face and said, "No, shut up." "Then torture it with that foot," he said. "I can't hear your obscene voice. Is this trying to lure our troops?" There were consecutive kicks that made the demons behind them not dare to do it again. The demons next to them couldn't help but exclaim when they saw the shoe polishing with demons. He's even more demon-like than that female demon king. He and his billion-dollar army entered the capital. The team is still very neat. Leading behind them were thousands of monsters lined up in uncountable lines. Besides that, there were people who saw it without feeling anything. Kim Jin-soo, walking next to Sir Leonha's horse, he said, "Sir, don't you find it strange?" "He doesn't look strange at all. What do you want to talk about?" Kim Jin-soo continued, "This is definitely a glorious victory, but it seems people's reaction is not very good. All the people watched the demons pass without feeling joy, but fear. Even low-level demons," he explained, "can easily bewitch humans and gradually corrupt them. The battle against such monsters cannot end overnight, so with just this much victory, it doesn't mean anything. In essence, this was a battle with their demon king. Then I will let the people hang, the demons, and they will kill them themselves. Then they will feel the sweetness of the death of those disgusting souls." Hearing Mr. Leonha's purpose, Kim Jin-soo couldn't help but get goosebumps. Unexpectedly, Mr. Leon would have such thoughts, but he can't change it anyway, just have to say, yes. His voice began to soften a lot. "We, in the best-case scenario, will achieve a great victory by defeating the demon king. And then no one will come to bother us anymore." No one. As he spoke, Mr. Leonha thought about the old general in the country. It seems his purpose is much higher than that.